Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Oliver and on this channel we talk about education and early career development in Finland. And during these weekly live Q&A sessions I answer your most burning questions about living, studying and working in Finland. And how these live streams actually work is that in the description box below, below the YouTube video, there is a link to a Google form, which does not require any kind of logins or users. If you want your question to be answered live, please post your question into the Google form. The reason being is that usually during these live streams, the live chat gets pretty busy at times, and it's very difficult for me to follow along the chat and pick out the questions from there. However, if you post your question into the Google form, I will have all the questions here in front of me on the computer, and I will be able to answer every single question in a first come, first serve basis. Before I jump into the first questions, we have a couple of questions left over from the last time. I will just post the live stream to our Discord server, and if you for some reason are not a member of our Discord server, I highly recommend that you consider joining. Again, there's a link in the description box below. The idea of the server is to just build a community of people interested in living, studying and working in Finland. And in the server, we answer each other's questions, and I post updates about upcoming videos and live streams just like this one. Anyway, super quickly, before I jump into the first question, just saying hey to everyone who has just joined. Twan Steg, what's up? Young, welcome back to the stream. Awesome to have you guys here again. Then we have Agiles Vuda, welcome back to the stream once again. Thanks for all the comments in the videos and in the community post. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for actually asking. I'm actually quite just fine. Last week was just a pretty busy week, and I was feeling a bit too tired to actually stream for 3 hours straight, so I just had to take a bit of a break. But don't worry, no worries, I'm back and we will have a good stream trying to answer as many questions as possible. Mohammed Sabur, Ahmed, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. I cannot speak. For some reason, I haven't done a video or done a live stream in a week or two, so I cannot speak anymore. That's awesome. Anyway, jumping right in, Aditya, welcome to the stream as well. Awesome to have you guys here. Hopefully you are all doing fine and are all safe and sound. And hopefully as many of you are able to prepare yourself to a new life in Finland starting August, September. Anyway, let's jump right into the first questions. And actually, we still have a few questions from 2 weeks ago. So let's start with those. And the first one actually comes from Zafer or Zafer. I think that's Zafer because Zafer is from Turkey. And he's starting school this semester at the Jyväskylä University of Applied Sciences, doing a bachelor's in software engineering. And I think that he's going to be here doing an exchange period, because the question is, I will study in Finland for 4 months. Can I get a part-time job while studying, whether related to my studies or not? So if you are coming to Finland to basically study an exchange period for just 1 semester, it is extremely unlikely that you would be able to find any kind of a job. It doesn't matter whether it's related to your field or not. Simply because in Finland, hiring is an expensive and it's an expensive process, and it's actually hiring people in Finland to work is really quite expensive, and it's a huge hassle for any kind of a company, whether it's a cafeteria or a software development company, to hire someone who is not going to stay in the country for just a couple of months. So it's highly unlikely that you would be able to find any kind of a job during your stay here, especially considering that usually finding a job takes multiple months. So, and there's no point for you to start looking for jobs before you come to Finland, because no one is going to hire you if you're not physically in Finland. So you would most likely spend 4 months just looking for a job. Then someone might be able to or willing to hire you, but you're already leaving the country. So my answer to you is no, you will not be able to get a part-time job in Finland if you're going to stay here for just a few months. Let's see, we have a couple of other people joining in. Super quickly saying hi to everyone. We have we have Indranil56 saying moi Oliver, hyvää iltaa. What's up? Happy evening to you as well, or good evening to you as well. Technical booth, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. I'm doing just fine. Hopefully you're doing great as well. Thank you for asking. We have Mehdi El Amrani. Welcome to the stream as well. Awesome to have you here again. And then we have Annette. What's up? Welcome to the stream as well. We have a lot of regulars joining the stream. Sorry for everyone. I wasn't able to do the live stream last week. I was simply a bit too tired. I haven't been able to have a long holiday in quite a while, so just needed to have a bit of a break. Anyway, let's jump back into the question. The next one actually comes from the forum, and it's from Yuri, who comes from Italy. And Yuri has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in the universities of Aalto and University of Helsinki, specifically to do a bachelor's in international business. And the question is it easy to make Finnish friends if we are in an international program with no Finns? It depends on you. So it depends on your proactivity and your ability to find find certain groups and for example, societies where you can actually get to know Finnish people. So if you are studying in an international program, which is majority international, there are basically no programs that are 100% international, or that's pretty common. However, if you are in a program that is a majority internationals, then you will have to be very proactive and ask around, for example, from your student tutor about different student clubs and groups that you could join in order to actually get to know other Finnish people. The problem with Finnish people is that we don't usually come proactively. We do not come proactively to you. Rather, you have to come to us. So having said that, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. However, once you get into the rhythm and you get into the student community, absolutely yes, it's possible to make Finnish friends, even if you start your studies in an international group or international program. So absolutely yes, but do remember that you need to be proactive about it. Cool. Let's see, we have the next question comes from Shrujit, who comes from India, and Shrujit has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland. By the way, he's also a regular on the channel, but is interested in doing a bachelor's in accounting or business. And the question is, hey Oliver, I have been looking at some universities for international business, and I gained interest in the Oulu University of Applied Sciences as well as the Haaga-Helia University of Applied Sciences. And the part where I get conned or confused is in Google, because in Google it says that the tuition fee for Oulu University of Applied Sciences is $2,730 per year, while somewhere else it says $13,000 per year. And for Haaga-Helia, the same problem. It says in Google it says $1,000, and somewhere else it says $2,000 to $3,000. So I don't really know what I should believe, because I'm finding different kind of universities between $2,000 and $3,000 per year with the tuition. And if you know anything about this, your help would be highly appreciated. Yeah, so this is actually a great question, and this is actually something that everyone who is applying to study in Finland should take notice. When you Google, for example, Aalto University tuition or Universities Finland tuition fees or something like this, the results that you get on Google, on the Google front page, or for example on some kind of blogs or websites, please do not believe those numbers, because they are most likely false or they're old news. So what I would say to you is to always go to the university website and go to their tuition fee page and look for the current tuition fees from there. There's a huge problem currently where there are a couple of different websites that list out the tuition fees and scholarships for universities, and they're trying to get themselves as high in Google as possible. However, the information that they give is actually not true, or it's false, or they formulate the information in a wrong way, which makes it very it doesn't communicate they do not communicate the truth, basically. So please, every time that you're looking for information about tuition fees or scholarships, go to the university websites to check the correct information from there. Good question. Then the next question actually comes from Krishnaver, who comes from India, and Krishnaver has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in a master's in business management or health informatics. And the question is, hi, I would love to settle in Finland. Could you please tell me which is the best career option to settle there in for near future? Either business management or health information technology. I finished my business in technology, in biotechnology, and I'm really confused which path to take. So a couple of things here. First of all, if you want to study business, specifically management, and you have a bachelor's degree in technology, please do note that you might not be eligible to apply for master's programs in business. This is because in Finland, when you apply for a master's program, one of the key requirements or basic requirements for you to apply is that you need to have a bachelor's degree, which makes you eligible to apply for a master's in that field. So for example, usually I say that use the example, if you have a bachelor's degree in computer sciences, you are not going to be able to apply for a master's in finance, because they're completely different, and you would need to have a huge amount of information about finance even to be able to pass the master's courses. So if you haven't studied any kind of a finance topic ever, there's no way for you to even pass the courses, master's level courses. So this is one of the reasons why you are not able to apply for example, a master's in finance if you have a bachelor's in computer sciences or in health studies, for example. So that's number one thing to take into account. So please, how you can resolve this is to go to university websites and look for master's programs. Excuse me. Look for master's programs in management that you're interested in, and then go to the program information and requirements and check whether or not you're eligible to apply in the first place. Second, to your question about which is the better career option, I cannot say anything here. Having a degree in business is always a good option. There's plenty of opportunities there. And even if you study management, you could work in finance, you could work in consultancy, you could work in whatever you want, basically, because business degrees are still general business degrees. However, then on the other hand, health technology, health information technology is a rapidly growing field globally. So I would guess that's also a great option to go for. I don't know enough about the field to give any kind of a other comment. Plus, also, usually I refrain from giving you guys personal recommendations on which field to take, simply because if you follow my advice, or if you, one of the biggest mistakes that a person can actually do is to start studying something because someone told them that this is a good option. Rather, instead, what you should do is you should pursue a field, a career that you're actually interested in. If you're really interested in business and management, sure, go for it. However, if you have no interest in it at all, but you're just looking at, available jobs, that's a very bad way to go, because you're not going to be interested in the topic, which means that you're going to do poorly in school, which means that that's going to reflect poorly on your CV, which means that no one wants to hire you. So I would rather have you be really good at what you do, even if the field is smaller, rather than being bad or average in a very big field. So that's what I'm going to say here. All right, the next question comes from Danushka, who comes from the United Arab Emirates. And Danushka is applying to the University of Tampere to do her master's in finance. And the question is, hope you're doing fine. Thank you very much. Hopefully, I'm actually doing quite well. Hopefully, you're doing fine as well. At present, I'm staying at the United Arab Emirates, and I'm planning to come by next year with my family. I'm planning to come to Tampere, and the question is Tampere a good city for living? Yes, Tampere is a lovely city to live in. It's not the biggest city in Finland. It's also not the smallest city in Finland, but it's a in the scale of Finland, it's a big city with a lot of, for example, job opportunities. My field is finance, and I'm doing the IELTS language proficiency tests now and thinking about doing some Finnish language courses also before moving. As I've heard, it is difficult to find jobs without learning the Finnish language. Is this true? In your field, specifically in finance and business, no, that's not true at all. Can you please give me an idea about the cost of living and the job market in Finland? How can I apply for scholarships? So first of all, for scholarships, you always apply for scholarships at when you apply to the university itself. So this depends slightly on the university. Some universities have a bit of a different system. However, the majority of universities in Finland offer their scholarships when you actually apply to the school itself. So when you apply, you basically fill out a form, and if you want to apply for a scholarship, you need to then check a box basically in that application form where it says, I want to apply for a scholarship. So that's basically the way that you apply for scholarships for universities on master's level. Then cost of living around, if you have around 600-800 euros per month, that you're going to be very comfortable. Well, if you go for example, for 800 euros per month, you're going to be very comfortable. 600 euros, you're gonna get by, but you will not be able to do that much, for example. And that's per person, so 800 per person. So if you guys come with your spouse and maybe a child, then you would need to, multiply that by 2 or 3. And then about the job market in Finland, very hard to say. I don't know about Tampere, the city of Tampere itself, but for example, in the capital, Helsinki, jobs in finance, there's, unlimited jobs in finance. The question is always about your ability to find the companies that would be able to hire you with your skill sets and to be able to actually get through the recruitment processes. Getting your first jobs after your studies is never easy, not even for Finnish students. And but however, once you get your first jobs, the effect starts to snowball, and it gets easier and easier the further you get in your career. So I would say these are very short answers to your question. Hey Christian, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Christian Quevedo saying good morning. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone, whatever the local time is at your place. Actually, talking about it, what's the time in your country currently? It's 5:46 p.m. in Helsinki, in Finland. So what's the time locally there? Just let me know in the chat. Cool. Then we have the next question comes actually from Corey Sanders, and Corey is from the United States, and he has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in the University of Jyväskylä, specifically in a PhD in education technology. Interesting, super interesting. So he's saying, I'm a non-traditional student. I'm in my mid-30s with a family. Is there anything to your knowledge that I should be aware of when planning to start my studies? It sounds like while I will be able to work part-time, my wife will not. Do you have any suggestions for housing for families with small children, approximately 5 to 6 years old? First of all, if you come to study in Finland and your spouse moves with you, they are allowed to actually work while being here. So that's actually very important to note. And actually, for them to actually get a residence permit with you, they actually have to be able to cover their costs during their stay here. So that's one of the reasons why they are actually allowed to work, so that they could cover their living costs. So that's actually so you have actually mistaken that in that sense. Then actually, Alexi, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Alexi can actually more likely answer this question. So where to find housing for an international student with a family, with a young child. I would say that the biggest question is your budget. So of course, the further away you come from the city center, the better. And of course, you would need to check the local schools, for example, and where your child would go to school. There are a bunch of international schools, or a couple of international schools in Helsinki. So you would most likely want to live approximately pretty close to them. Then on the other hand, if you go to, for example, Espoo, which is another big city in the capital region, which is just west from Helsinki, there's a lot of really nice neighborhoods there for families with kids, and I'm sure that you could find something. There's plenty of different websites that actually offer rental apartments and for example, where people actually sell or market their apartments for selling or for purchase. So the problem is that with those, many of the websites are actually in Finnish, which is completely ridiculous. However, Corey, if you are right now online, what you could do is please, for example, connect with me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile is actually linked in the description box below. Send me a message on LinkedIn just saying, hey, I asked you a question in the live stream, and I could try to point you to the correct direction with your questions. It's very difficult for me to give you concrete answers here because these are such wide topics. Then what else? Is there anything to your knowledge that I should be aware of when planning to start my studies? Not really. I have plenty of videos on my channel, and Alexi himself actually also has plenty of videos on his channel about things that you need to be aware of before you actually move to Finland. So start going through the different playlists that I, for example, have on my channel, and then start going through the videos that Alexi has on his channel. And if you don't know Alexi beforehand, he's actually in the chat, Alexi himself, videos about Finland. He has plenty of stuff talking about, for example, the Finnish culture and different things that you need to know before you actually relocate. Let's see. Then the next question. Actually, before we jump into the next question, let's see. Who do we have in the chat? There's a lot of activity in the chat going on right now. Well, we have actually quite a bit of new people. So we have, for example, we have Vimontion Monty. What's up? Welcome to the stream again. Awesome to have you here again. Then we have Naim Saijo. Welcome to the stream. Awesome to have you here. We have Siku Yu. We have Kira N. What's up? Welcome to the stream as well. We have Gamevala Noob. Gamevala Noob. Welcome to the stream. We have Pankaj Chauhan. Pankaj Chauhan. Welcome to the stream as well. We have Endro Dobry. What's up? Welcome back to the stream. We have High Vibes. We have Alexifan. What's up? Alexifan, you luckily actually got Alexi in the stream as well online, so that's kind of funny. We have Aliza Marie Salches. Welcome to the stream, saying it's 5 p.m. in Germany. Yeah, so the time difference is about an hour. Then we have Kazi Nadim Hossain. Welcome to the stream as well. Awesome to have everyone here. Katrina Clarice, welcome from the Philippines. Then we had Alexi. What's up? Awesome to have you here again. By the way, thanks for the message. Actually, a really good idea. I'll respond to you on WhatsApp later. Then we have Precious James. Sorry, missed that. I missed that. Precious James Diposa. Welcome from the Philippines as well. Then we have, who else do we have? I think that's pretty much everyone. We have Chen Suging. Welcome to the stream. I think a new face here in the stream. Awesome. And we have Jerome Seki. Welcome to the stream. Amar as well. Awesome. Really cool to see a lot of new faces or new names in the chat. Welcome to everyone. Guys, if you have any questions about living, studying, or working in Finland, the way that these live streams work is that there's a Google form linked in the description box below. If you have a question, please post your question into the form. There's also a link in the chat right now. And the reason why I do take the questions this way is because it's difficult for me to follow along with the live chat because there's quite a lot of discussions going on there. And when you fill out the form, I will have the questions here in front of me on the computer in an Excel file so that I can go through all of the questions in a first come, first served basis. So that helps me out. Anyway, the next question comes from Christine, who comes from the US. And welcome Christine as well. And Christine has not yet decided whether or not she wants to study in Finland, but is interested in childcare and education. And the question is, has anyone ever told you that you look like Nathan Fillion? No, no one has ever told me that I look like Nathan Fillion. I have to... Okay, gotta say, I'm not quite sure if I see a resemblance here. All right, question. Let me know in the chat. Do we actually look alike? Christine is saying that I look a bit like Nathan Fillion. So I'll try to have this awkward smile. I guess no. Just have a yes or no in the chat. Do I look like Nathan Fillion? I've never heard of this. People actually say there's a couple of people that I look alike. Matt Damon is one. So some people say that I look a bit like Matt Damon. Yeah. When I was younger, I actually used to look a bit more like Matt Damon. But then there's another guy. What's this guy's name? Let's see. Jocko Willink. Is another guy. He's a former Navy SEAL, and I have a couple of colleagues who say that I look like a discounted Jocko Willink when I'm angry. Something like this. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of fun. Anyways, awesome. Let's continue with the stream. Alexi, thank you so much, man, for the €2 to 23-cent espresso fund super chat. That's highly appreciated, man. As always, I'm actually up. I have to actually get you a beer. I think I owe you a beer. So in a couple of weeks, actually, I'm going to take a bit of a break from work. So I actually would most likely will go to our summer cottage to go to our at least to have a evening sauna, and you're most welcome to come with. I'll let you know when I actually go there. But thanks so much. That's highly appreciated. Cool. All right. Let's continue with the stream. Before that, actually, just checking the chat. Christian saying that I look a bit like Gamevala saying a little bit. Face cutting, the nose is completely different. That's true. Yeah. LOL a little bit. Chen saying yes, you do a younger, more European version of him. That's kind of funny. And Agiles Buddha saying at first glance yes, but the longer you look at it, the resemblance disappears. Cool. That's kind of fun. Anyway, Christian actually asking in the chat, is Finland taking any visitors at the moment? Yes, we are. There's actually the government has just updated the COVID restrictions for people coming in, and please check out if you're actually planning on coming to Finland. Please go to thl.fi and then change the language to English, and check out this box here. We have all the recent news about COVID, and the restrictions are all here. THL is the Finnish Institute for Health and Welfare, and it's the official government institution who takes care of these things. So please check from there if you're planning on coming to Finland in the near future. Cool. Let's see. The next question comes from Faiz, who comes from Indonesia, and Faiz is starting school this semester at Aalto University, doing a degree in computer sciences. And the question is, so I received an offer from HOAS and currently also waiting an offer from AYY, the Aalto University Student Union, for those of you who do not know. And I'm currently in the queue with number 13 out of 500 for a room in a shared apartment. But for the room type, I much prefer the one from AYY, as it has a en-suite bathroom, while the HOAS is shared. Any advice? Can I postpone the HOAS acceptance or upgrade the room scheme, or would it be possible for me to accept HOAS and then later accept the offer from AYY? Although preferably not, but I'm content with losing the initial deposit. Great question. First of all, accept the offer from HOAS immediately if you have not. The problem with postponing the offers is that the companies actually do not let you postpone the offers. Usually they only give you a couple of days of warning for you to accept the apartment offer. So I'm talking about student apartment providers, any kind of student apartment providers in Finland. You only will have a couple of days to accept the offer, and if you don't accept it or you decline it, then you will most likely not be offered a new apartment, at least, within a year or so from them. So in this case, I would say that just go with the Hoas apartment just in case. Even though you're number 13 in the queue, AYY apartments are very, very popular. So it might take a couple of months at least to get down from 13 to 0 or to 1. So I would not risk it. Also, you have to take into account that when you actually sign up with an apartment, there's actually a time period during which there's actually a cancellation period. So you can't just tell them one day that, okay, I'm out, I'm not going to pay you the rent. Rather, you would need to still pay the rent for at least a month or maybe 2 even. So you would then lose quite a lot of money if you were to actually cancel the offer from Hoas. So I would just prefer you to actually go with that. You can always move to AYY apartments later. So don't remove yourself from the queue from AYY. So for example, if you would be offered an apartment from AYY in half a year, then absolutely accept it. But don't rely on getting a AYY apartment right now. Just accept the first offer that you get. Anyway, before we jump into the next question, we have a €5 super chat from Jam Jiwi. Thank you so much. That is super highly appreciated. Going to the Oliver Espresso Fund trademark. That's funny. Thank you so much. That's highly appreciated. Cheers for that. By the way, guys, if you're not seeing this, I have to drink a lot of liquids because I'm sweating like hell. In Finland, or in the Nordics in general, we have been having this massive heat wave for weeks now, and it's still continuing. We've had almost 25 to 30 degrees Celsius every single day. And long into the evenings, and inside the moisture levels go very high, or the humidity levels go very high, and it's super hot inside. For example, in the office it's over 25 degrees right now, so I'm sweating like a pig right now. So that's not so cool right now. But yeah, it's very weird for Finland to be this hot during the summer, which is interesting. Cannot complain too much. The weather has been very lovely. However, it's a bit too warm. Anyways, the next question from the forum, and guys, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer live, please post your questions into the Google form, which is linked in the description box below, and so that I will be able to get to your questions in a first come, first serve basis. Anyways, the next question comes from Pavel, who comes from the Czech Republic, and Pavel is coming to Finland for work, not for school, in the field of business. And the question is, hey Oliver, is it still easy to transfer within a Big Four firm to Finland during the COVID pandemic, or are the travel restrictions hindering it? I've been recently hired to a local branch of the of KPMG, which is one of the big global consultancy companies, for those of you who do not know. And I'd like to move to Finland one day. Not sure how Corona affects job positions for internationals though. So actually currently in Finland, we are actually doing really well with the COVID situation. The vaccinations are progressing very well. And the situation in Finland is actually so good that we are now accepting foreigners into the country with certain restrictions. So again, please go to the website of the Finnish Institute for Health. Go to the website of the Finnish Institute for Health and Welfare. Here, it's thl.fi, and from here you can see the latest updates about COVID, travel restrictions, etc. But in your case, if you actually want to move to Finland, what I would do in your case is actually talk to your local branch, HR, and ask whether or not you have any kind of a exchange program, for example, to other countries, or whether they would be able to connect you with the local branch in Helsinki for potential opportunities here. The KPMG offices in Helsinki are absolutely awesome. I've been there a couple of times, and I have a bunch of friends working there, and I know that a lot of people are actually enjoying themselves working for them in Finland. So definitely, yeah. Yeah, Uvindu Pereira saying 25 to 30 degrees Celsius and sweating. I am living in a place where the average temperature is 32 degrees. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's not cool. That's not cool. No, 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 no. In Finland, during the summer, 25 is perfect. Over that, that's cool for a couple of days, but the problem is that since we have such long days during summer, the sun only, we are already going kind of towards winter, where it means that the days are getting shorter by a couple of minutes per day. So we are already past the longest day of the year. However, the sun still sets around 12 p.m. or something like this, which means that the sun is heating up the country for such a long time that it's super hot even in the evenings, which also means that the apartments are really hot. And since in Finland, again, we're not used to this, it also means that we don't have AC installed in most of our apartments, which means that the apartments are extremely warm, and that kind of sucks, especially when you're trying to sleep. So yes, we're not, no, we're not used to this at all. Anyway, the next question comes from Agiles Vuda, who comes from Netherlands and is a regular on the channel, which is highly appreciated. And by the way, once again, am I pronouncing Agiles correctly, or is it Agies? Agies. I think I've forgotten. Anyway, he's applying to a school which he's not sure about, but we'll try any schools near the capital region, although my budget isn't exactly luxurious, so the countryside is fine too. Anyway, applying for a bachelor's in biology and linguistics. And the question is, does HOAS offer shared apartments where you have a roommates? Yeah, so specifically HOAS, or the for those of you who do not know, HOAS is the, I'll just show you really quickly, the Foundation for Student Housing in the Helsinki region. It's a non-profit. Actually, it's also owned by students, university students in the Helsinki region, and they rent, build, and maintain apartments in the capital region. They are a sponsor on the channel. Hashtag this stream is not sponsored by HOAS, but I've also been living with them in their apartments for the entirety of my studies, so I can honestly say that they are awesome. So yes, they specifically have shared apartments where you will be assigned a roommate or roommates. The size of the apartment varies quite a bit, but you can have up to, I think, 4 roommates in the same apartment. So basically everyone would have their own room. So basically 5 rooms plus a shared kitchen and a shared bathroom. So that's one form of a student apartment in Finland, definitely. Of course, HOAS is only in the capital region. Then there are different student apartment providers at each university city in Finland. Great question. Anyway, the next question comes from Honor, who comes from somewhere and is still in high school, and saying that there's no specific choices for schools, but I'm interested in those that are in the top 500 ranks globally, which is awesome. And he's interested in a bachelor's in engineering or economics. Cool. And the question is, this might be a bit off topic, most likely not, but from my online research, I see various number rankings between 20 to 50%. I thought it's best to ask a local person, how much tax exactly will I be required to pay? If we need to assume a salary, let's say the average salary, which is stated to be around 40,000 euros per year on many different sites. Also, is that number already including tax? No. All right, so there's a couple of things here that I want to talk about. So basically, we're talking about the amount of tax that you need to pay in Finland and the gross salaries or the salary levels in Finland. So in Finland, the median salary, let's see. Let's see, actually, just a moment. So so the median salary in Finland, gross salary, so take into account the entire country, the median salary in Finland is 37,680 euros. That's gross salary. And every time we're talking about salaries in Finland, first of all, usually we talk about monthly salaries. So in Finland, we usually don't talk about annual salaries or yearly salaries. So for example, if you apply for a job and they talk about salaries, they always talk about monthly salaries, never annual salaries. That's something that they do mostly abroad. So that's one thing. So the median salary is a bit over 37,000 euros a year, and that's gross. So that's pre-tax. Taxes in Finland are progressive. So it means that the more the higher your income, the more taxes you pay per new euro that you make, basically. And with a this is a super rough estimate, but let me see. If you pay, I'm sorry, if your income, gross income is 30, let's see, sorry, one more second. One more second. Oh, come on. Just trying to find the tax rates, just a moment. So it's impossible for me to give you a number directly. The problem here is that in Finland, because we have a progressive taxation, the more you make, the more you pay. So I would say that, come on, where is it? Let's see. Oh, come on. I'm trying to find the tax numbers. Come on, this is stupid. Well, I'm not able to find it, but basically my guess is that you would need to pay around 20-25% of your income in taxes and different benefits. So the thing that you need to know is that in Finland, when you actually are hired by a company, when they pay your salary, they actually submit the taxes for you. So in Finland, unlike, for example, in the US, where you need to submit your own taxes, the employers in Finland are responsible for submitting your taxes before they pay the salary to you. So basically, every single month when you get your salary, you get that on your account as the net salary or salary after taxes and, for example, again, after taxes and pension payments, social security payments, etc. I'm losing everything. So I would say that it's around 20-25% that you need to pay in taxes and benefits, etc. From your gross salary if you have a median income in Finland. However, that goes up quite quickly once you get progress into a higher income bracket. So just take that into account. The best way for you the way for you to actually assess, and this is actually for everyone, if you want to assess how much money you would need or how much tax you would actually need to pay from your salary, there's actually a really good tax calculator on the Finnish tax administration's website. So just Google Vero, V-E-R-O, which is the Finnish tax administration in Finland. Vero means tax in Finnish. Vero tax calculator, and you should find the first link here, tax percentage calculator, and you can actually use this calculator to get an estimate of your taxes, benefits, etc. that you would need to pay from your gross salary every single month. So that's something that I highly recommend that everyone goes through because it gives you an idea of the tax level in Finland. Sorry. Anyway, long answer to a complicated question. Let's move on. The next question comes from Alexandra, and Alexandra comes from Romania, and she's applying to a university, doesn't know which yet, but to do her master's in engineering. And the question is, I have a bachelor's and a master's degree, and I am an authorized engineer in machines construction technology, but I work in building services engineering. If I want to become an engineer in building services, can I only do a master's degree in this field? Unfortunately, Alexandra, I don't have any idea. I'm not that well versed in specific engineering fields, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of different engineering degrees that you could do in Finland. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you an answer to this question because it's such a specific question about the topic. Then the next question comes from Suresh Matan, who comes from India, who is coming to Finland for work, not for school, specifically in the field of mechanical maintenance and business development. And the question is, how can a non-European Union person actually get how can a non-EU person approach an employer or an agency for jobs? That's super easy. Simply look for the companies that you would love to work for and try to look for their recruitment emails and contact them directly via email or, for example, their HR manager through LinkedIn. That's it. In Finland, we don't actually have that many agencies that would then help you find a job unless we are looking at C-level managerial positions. There are a couple of recruitment companies in Finland that do specifically specialize in international talent. However, the problem here is that if you want to get a work visa in Finland as simply to work here, not for studying, you need to basically have a job offer on table from a Finnish company before you can actually apply for a work permit. So it's kind of twisted that way. However, if you are interested to look a bit more into this topic, I do have a video about the topic that I recommend that you check out. Let me see super quickly. Just a moment. There is a nope. Let's see. I have a video about the topic where I actually go through. There you go. Okay. So if you go to my channel, whoops. If you go to my channel, come on. If you go to my channel and go all the way down to this playlist titled Working in Finland as an International Student, look for this video, Jobs in Finland, Best Recruitment Services for International Students in Finland. In the video, or in the video description here, I have a list of different companies. For example, Pointer Potential is specifically a company specializing in recruiting international talent. However, for anyone who is coming here as a student, especially as a bachelor student, this company is not for you because they mostly specialize in highly experienced applicants who want to relocate to Finland. However, Pointer Potential is great if you already have quite a bit of work experience in your field. Anyway, the next question comes from Suresh Mata. I'm sorry, that's actually the same one. The next question comes from Val, who comes from Spain, and he's applying to Aalto University to do a master's in arts, design, and architecture. And there's a couple of questions here. Let's start. Hi, Oliver. I'm thinking of applying for a master's program at Aalto University on the next application period. I did my Erasmus at Metropolia University of Applied Sciences, and I just knew that I wanted to come back to Finland. That's awesome. I want to apply to study creative sustainability, a master's in arts, interior architecture, or another design-related master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree in design, which is 4 years, which I've read is higher than the required degree that you would need to apply at minimum. My question is, do you have any opinions on the creative sustainability program at Aalto and the School of Arts and Design? Do you think the chances are low at getting an admission for this program if my academic background isn't fully centered in sustainability so far? And do you think having done a longer bachelor's degree or wider bachelor's degree can be an advantage when applying in general? Thanks for answering my questions. Sorry it was too long. Not at all. Great question. Let's take these one by one. So first of all, the Aalto University School of Arts and Design is one of the best schools in arts and design in the world. They actually rank 7th, I think, in the world in arts globally. So it's a really good school, but it also means that it's very difficult to get in. About the creative sustainability program, I don't have personal experience about this, but what I've heard is that it's a superior program, very interesting, and I highly recommend that you look into it a bit more. I really cannot say anything more about this because, again, I don't have any personal experience and I don't know anyone who actually went to the program. I've just heard, friends of friends talking about it, so that's kind of not indirect experience in a sense. Then, do you think the chances are low at getting an admission if my academic background isn't fully centered in sustainability so far? No, I don't think that's going to be a problem as long as you you have a good degree in arts and design or something similar, and you have a good academic record, meaning a good GPA. You are very good in your arts, so you're able to actually showcase your design skills. Because there's going to be some kind of a, most likely there's going to be some kind of a assignment in the application system or the process. I'm not quite sure, but I think there is. And then you also, of course, have to focus on all the other topics in the application. For example, there's going to be a language proficiency test. You need to be you need to do really well with that. You're going to have to write a motivation letter. You have to write a very compelling motivation letter, etc. So this actually applies to everyone. If you have not yet applied to study in Finland, there's never one single thing that is going to decide whether or not you're going to be admitted, because all the applications there's multiple different things that are going to be assessed. So if you, for example, need to do the SATs, and then you also have to, send your CV, or you need to show your previous GPA, there's not going to be only one thing that is going to decide whether you get in. You have to do really well at everything, or at least above average in everything, at least, to get into to study in Finland. So, take this into account. Then, do you think having done a longer or a wider bachelor's degree, which basically is 4 years, while in Finland normally that's 3 years, will be an advantage when applying in general? Most likely not. However, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's going to be a bit of any kind of an advantage, because in Finland you can also do a longer bachelor's if you do a degree in a University of Applied Sciences, and that is not going to have any kind of an impact on or positive impact on the application. So just take that into account. Difficult questions. The problem here is that I'm not a admission, consultant or anything like this. So it's very difficult for me to say for sure about any of the topics or any of the questions here. Anyway, the next question comes from Vittorio Monti, who comes from Brazil, and Vittorio is starting school this semester, which is really awesome, at the Kajani University of Applied Sciences, doing his bachelor's in international business. Awesome. Cool. And then the question is, hi Oliver, how are you doing? I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much for asking. I had just received an apartment offer from the city I'm going to study in Finland, and I have everything ready to start my studies in Finland in August. That's awesome. Well done for having done everything on time. I think you are an exemplary example of a person who has actually done everything that you need to do on time. That is awesome. Now you don't have to stress about anything else. You just have to wait for August to actually arrive to Finland and, maybe start learning a bit of Finnish or learning a bit more about the Finnish history, planning your studies or so. Well done. Everyone follow Vittorio's example. Take care of all the procedural things on time so that you don't have to stress about them before you come to Finland. Well done. Anyway, thanks to all of your help and informative videos. I just wanted your advice and opinion regarding part-time jobs. Is it a good idea to start looking for part-time jobs the first month I arrived? Is it a good idea to start looking for part-time jobs right after I arrive in Finland, or should I wait until I settle into the country? Also, do you think it's a good idea to translate my CV to both English and Finnish, even though my Finnish is still at a beginner level? Thank you. Have a great day. Great questions, and this actually applies to every single one of you, especially if you want to do part-time jobs in Finland. So please listen up. Number one, let's start with the easiest one. Do you need to translate your CV into Finnish? No, you do not need to translate your Finnish CV in Finnish if you apply for a work in Finland. The reason is because you have to apply for jobs where you can actually work in English anyways, and if the job doesn't require any Finnish, or if the job allows you to work in English, there's no point for you translating your CV into Finnish. It's not going to give you any kind of a benefit in the application process. The recruiters are not going to be impressed about it, and it's not going to help you because everyone knows that you can just translate your CV with Google Translate. Just have it in English. Have one copy of it or one version of your CV. That's it. Then the question about should you apply for part-time jobs right after arriving to Finland? In my honest opinion, no. My opinion, based on experience, is that you should wait for, you should first do your first semester, not the academic year, but your first semester. So in Finland, the academic year is divided into 2 semesters. We have the autumn semester, which is from August or late August to New Year's. And then we have the spring semester, which is from January to early June. So I would wait basically until January to start applying for first jobs. The reason being, there's a couple. First of all, it's going to take a lot of energy and time just to settle in and get integrated into the new country. So if you spend all of the time applying for jobs, you're going to, first of all, burn out really easily. You're going to miss out most of the interesting things that you usually experience when you have moved into a new country. And it's super difficult for you to even know where to start looking for jobs if you haven't even kind of settled in. So please don't spend your time during the first months trying to look for a job. Rather, slowly settle in, start getting used to your studies, get to know other international students and local students, and have a good time, because the start of the semester is always the the most fun part, because most of the student parties and activities happen during the first half of the year, or the biggest amount of events. The second reason is that actually the biggest job application season during the year for students specifically starts in January. So that's basically when companies start to look for people for the next summer, for the same summer. So that's why I would say that the best idea for you would be to start looking for jobs in January or February, because then you will be able to get a job. You would be able to look for a job for the summer. So I would say that's it. The one more thing that I want to say is that I would not, if I were you, I would not. I would start applying for jobs during your first academic year. However, I would not accept any kind of a job during your first year unless you are financially, unless you have to do it because of financial reasons. However, if you don't have to work during your first year because of financial reasons, I would not work during the first academic year, simply because the study culture and the university system in Finland is so different from other countries that it will get quite a lot of time to getting used to it. So if you spend if you start working part-time, let's say 10 hours a week or even 20 hours a week, you will not have any kind of free time in your hands, and you're going to burn out really quickly. So first, settle in, get used to the university system, have fun during your first year, because the first year is always the most fun in Finland because of the student culture, the events, the parties. Only after that, start working. That's my honest opinion. Of course, your personal situation is always going to be different, and you do as you want to do, but this is my recommendation. Anyways, the next question comes from Marco, who comes from Egypt, and Marco is starting school this semester at the Metropolia University of Applied Sciences, and Marco is coming to Finland to do his master's in construction and real estate. Awesome. And the question is, how is construction industry in Finland nowadays? Is it booming? Also, how is the real estate market? It's absolutely crazy. Of course, currently, globally, the real estate markets, construction industry is absolutely insane. It's super high. It's on fire. There's way too much construction happening all over the place. The prices of apartments are sky high. So, for example, I would not want to buy an apartment right now because the prices are so high. Also, there's actually a global problem because construction materials are super expensive right now because there's so much demand for them. So the construction industry in Finland is booming right now. So if you're looking for jobs in the construction industry, the situation is very good at the moment. Hey Scarlett, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Awesome to have you here once again. Welcome. Actually, before we jump into the next question, which comes from Larry Camilo, I'll just really quickly jump into the chat for just a second. By the way, actually, let's do it this way. I will have a quick drink, and if you have any questions that I have not yet answered yet, I will take 2 questions from the chat. And how we will do this is that write a Q in front of your question into the chat so that I will notice that the question is for me, and then write your chat or just post your chat question into the chat, and I will pick 2 or 3 of the most interesting questions from the chat right now, and after that I will jump back into the form. But before that, a super quick drink while waiting for your questions. Hey Borna, welcome to this to the stream. I'm doing quite well, thank you very much for asking. Hopefully you're doing good as well. Let's see, we have let's super quickly, while waiting for the questions to the chat, I'll just look through the chat if there's anything interesting here. Chen Suging asking, hi there, the most important question is, do I need to bring a internet router to Finland? Absolutely not. I would not bring an internet router to Finland. Internet and internet electronics in Finland are extremely cheap, and the configurations also might be different, so do not bring a router to Finland. Absolutely no need. You will be able to buy them super cheap in Finland. Let's see, what else do we have? Just waiting for one more second for questions. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer right away, I will choose 2 or 3 best questions from the chat. So just write Q in front of your question, then the question, and post your question into the chat, and I will pick a couple of good and interesting questions from the chat before I will jump back into the actual Google form. Fisher Silver, what's up? Welcome to the stream with a $5 super chat. Came here to say hello and to contribute to your Torrefazione fund. That is highly appreciated. Thank you very much. For everyone who does not know, this is something that Fisher has been doing for quite a while. I can actually already afford a full lunch at Torrefazione with your contribution, so that's highly appreciated. Thank you. Awesome. All right, there's a couple of questions here. Just keep them coming. If you have any questions, just write them in the chat. Have a Q in front of your question, and I will pick a couple of them. There's only 2 for now, so I will just start answering those. The first one comes from Return to Monkey at All Cost, asking, where can I buy cheap mattresses, Oliver? What company would you recommend? IKEA. IKEA, hands-on. IKEA is the best store for these kind of things. There are of course other stores and shops where you could buy mattresses to your bed in addition to IKEA, but they're mostly all more expensive. So IKEA, hands on. There's an IKEA in the capital region. It's a bit outside of Helsinki, and you will need to get a van or you need to order it with delivery. Otherwise it's going to be a bit of a problem. Then Bashar Isam asking, if I want to study something in Finland in Finnish language, how can I start? Where can I apply to study Finnish language? Bashar, that's a great question. The answer here is do not even try. Don't even try to do this. It's not going to work. The reason is, if you want to study in Finland in Finnish, you would basically need to do the Finnish high school degree. That's not the whole truth, but basically the reason is that if you want to study in Finland at a university level in Finnish, there's 2 ways to do it. Number 1 is to do a Finnish high school degree, which is only in Finnish. So, that's not going to happen. You would need to actually move to Finland, get a residence permit to Finland to study in high school. You would need to do a high school degree in Finnish, which is not going to happen. And then you would need to apply to university. The other way for you to do it is to apply through the super rigorous entrance exams. So we have 2 separate application systems for universities in Finland. One for Finnish people or Finnish nationals, and then one for internationals. And the way that it works for Finnish people is that we have an after high school we have each university has a rigorous entrance exam, which is based on high school books, basically, which are relevant to that field. And the exam is organized only once per year, and it's only organized in Finnish or Swedish. Swedish because Swedish is the second official language in Finland. And the problem is that the books are only available for a short period of time before the exam, and you would basically, as a general kind of rule of thumb, you would basically need to be fluent. You would need to speak Finnish almost as a native tongue in order to even hope to pass those exams. And the thing is that the acceptance rates for universities in Finnish, it depends a bit on the school, but they're around 10% per field. And you have to take into account that you would be competing against people who actually speak Finnish natively, and they have already studied those books in high school for 3 or 4 years. So kind of summarizing all of this, there is no way for an international person to get to Finland to study in Finnish at a university level unless you speak native level Finnish. It's not possible. You're going to waste your time. It's not possible with any kind of internet resources. You would need to basically study in Finland for multiple years before you would actually be proficient enough to do this. I never would suggest anyone to do this. It's much easier to get to Finland if you were to study in English, because those are usually done through SATs, or the applications are usually done through SATs on bachelor's level. So, just saying this. All right, so just mentioning this to everyone, please do not spam the questions in the chat. I'm just mentioning this. It will not help you. I will most likely ban you if you spam the questions in the chat. So just letting you know, putting him Buri Nazar for a timeout for now. Just post your question once, and that's it. Then let's see, pick a couple of other questions here. Surjit asking, can I get a scholarship in football in Finland because they really need a star player? They didn't perform in the Euros well. Actually, we did perform in the Euros really well, considering that we were in the Euro Cup for the first time ever in Finnish history. So that's actually really, really good for Finland in the Finnish football history. So yeah, we actually did quite well. To your question, can you get a scholarship in football? No. In Finland, we do not have any kind of sports scholarships for universities. That's not a thing in Finland. Scholarships in Finland to universities are all based on academic merits, so no sports scholarships in Finland. Then we have, let's see, one more question. Let's see. Let's see, one other question. I'll try to get as a general question as possible so that it will give benefits to as many people as possible. Let's see. All right. Hi Vibe is asking, what kind of jobs can someone actually get if one applies for an MBA? All right, so this is actually a good question, not because of the question itself, but because of the terminology used. So this actually comes up quite a bit on the channel. A lot of people ask me about MBAs, which is a Master's in Business Administration. We do not do MBAs in Finland, period. MBAs in Finland are actually not an official university degree in Finland. Rather, we always do a master's degree in business and or economics, which is a MSc, as it is abbreviated. So MBAs in Finland are supplementary degrees that are basically only done by people who either have a bachelor's degree and then they have like 10 years of work experience, or they have a bachelor's and a master's and then they want to go back to school to supplement their current knowledge. So MBAs as a term, talking about the terminology, MBAs are not common in Finland. Rather, if you want to do a degree in business on a master's level, please look for master's degrees or MSCs in Finland. If you search for MBAs, you're not going to get the correct results. So this is actually something that you should take into account. Now to the question, if you do a degree in business, as a master's degree in business, you can do whatever you want. It's a super wide topic. Of course, if you major in finance, or if you major in accounting, or if you major in economics, then of course you will be specializing in certain areas or fields. However, that doesn't stop you from doing whatever you want. I have a master's degree in business, majoring in entrepreneurship and innovation management. Doesn't tell anyone anything. It's basically management and consultancy and strategy. technology with a hint with a minor in sustainable business. That doesn't really mean anything. I could actually work in any field that I wanted to. I would not be a banker basically, or I could most likely not become a banker unless I really wanted to do some mathematical studies on top of it. However, it doesn't really. When you do a business degree, you have such a wide area of expertise that you can work in almost any field as long as it has something to do with business, which almost everything has. All right. Anyways, thank you for all the great questions. I might be jumping back into the chat in just a second, but before we do that, let's jump back into the Google form because we still have questions there that I have not answered. And the next question from the form comes from Larry Camilo, who comes from India, and Larry is applying to the YUMK, University of Applied Sciences, to do his master's in business management. And the question is, hi Oliver, what's your opinion on YUMK University MBA course in GBM, Global Business Management, since I don't want to waste my time and money on a bad university and a course. YUMK University of Applied Sciences is a great school. However, if you want to do a master's in business, as I mentioned just now, if you want to do a master's in business, there are better schools in Finland. So as a general rule of thumb, if you want to do a master's degree, I would always prefer going to a university instead of a University of Applied Sciences, simply because universities are more theoretical and they give you a wider scope of skills theoretical skills and theoretical knowledge than a degree at a University of Applied Sciences. Degrees done at Universities of Applied Sciences like YUMK are more applicable. They're more applied, hands-on basically. Of course, YUMK is a good school, but for example, if I were to recommend a school to you for a master's in business, I would tell you to apply for Aalto University, which is my institution, because it's the best university in Finland in the field of business. However, YUMK is also a great institution. But it's good to understand the differences between universities and University of Applied Sciences. Anyways, the next question comes from Niku from India, and Niku is still in high school, but is interested in doing a bachelor's in quantum technology. That's cool. All right. And the question is, can I get admission after 4 years of my high school or inter-school, and how high marks should I need to get? First of all, if you have done a high school degree in your country, which makes you eligible to apply for a bachelor's degree in your country, you are also eligible to apply for a bachelor's in Finland. Second, the exact GPA that you need to get admission to study in Finland that's something that I cannot answer. It's not something that universities tell. There is not a minimum GPA. You can get to study in Finland with a lower GPA. However, then you would need to do really well in, for example, the SATs or your language proficiency tests or something else. So there's not only one thing that decides whether or not you will actually get admitted to study in Finland. God damn it, I cannot speak anymore. Stumbling over my words all the time. BB Gun, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Awesome to have you here. Same to everyone else who have just joined. Welcome to the stream. Don't worry, I will get back to the chat in just a moment. I will first answer a couple of questions from the forum. And actually, if you are new to the streams, first of all, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm guards if you're getting some value out of the stream. We're currently at 22 likes. It would be awesome to get to 45 likes before we end the stream. Second, if this is the first time that we're meeting, my name is Oliver, and I have actually just a few weeks ago graduated as a master's in business from Aalto University here in Finland. And on the channel, we talk about education and early career development in Finland. And how these live streams work is that there's a link to a Google form in the description box below. And if you want me to answer your questions live, please post your question into the Google form below. Mr. Indian Gamer, as well as anyone else who wants to get an answer to their question, please be patient and post your question into the Google form in the description box below. Pestering me or asking in the chat for me to answer will not get you an answer any faster. Anyway, so Niku's question is that's done. And the next question comes from Ariana, who comes from Vietnam. And Ariana is applying to Aalto University to do her PhD in engineering. Awesome. And the question is, with regards to international PhD students, some countries, for example, Sweden, after 2 years in PhD, can apply for a residency and possible citizenship. Is this also an option in Finland? So, no, it's not quite the same in Finland. Once you have come to Finland and you start working here, in Finland, when you study as a PhD student, you're basically regarded as a employee, not as a student per se, as I've understood this. You need to basically work in Finland for, I think, 4 years in total before you can actually apply for a permanent residency. It depends a bit on the type of work and the type of studies that you do, but this is kind of the general rule of thumb. Please check the Finnish Immigration Services website for the exact details, because I don't remember them 100%. However, no, it's not exactly the same. In Finland, the process takes a bit more time. However, of course, since your PhD studies will take way more than 2 years, most people do their PhD in 4 or 5 years or so. After you have done your PhD, you will most likely be able to apply for a permanent residency, and then it takes from there it takes a couple of years more for you to be able to apply for a citizenship. Also, if you want to get a citizenship in Finland, you will need to pass a language test in which you need to either prove your Finnish or Swedish language skills. However, I don't remember the exact details about the citizenship test because this is a topic that I have not looked into that much before. Anyway, great question though. Beth Kirk, thank you so much for the congratulations. Yeah, I actually just got confirmation about graduation I think 2 weeks ago, which is kind of cool. Still waiting for my certificate, and that should come via mail because of the COVID situation. Anyways, the next question comes from Chen from China, and Chen is starting school this semester at the University of something, at some kind of a university, doing his bachelor's in something. And the question is, for the first year of my studies, I think it's better. Do you think it's better to focus on your studies instead of finding a job? Right. Yes, absolutely true. You're correct. I would recommend you to focus on your studies, not finding a job during your first. I'm sorry. My recommendation is for you to focus on your studies, not doing a job during your first year. However, I do recommend that everyone starts looking for a job during the first year, basically in January, because January is the peak. Or in January, we start the biggest job application period or time during the year. So that's basically January to March is the peak in job applications in Finland, especially for the summer. So that's when I recommend that you apply for jobs. But during your first year, I don't recommend that you work because it's easier for you to then focus on school and getting integrated into the country, getting friends, having fun, etc. Because school is also university in Finland is also supposed to be a lot of fun. Anyways, the next question comes from Akai, who comes from India, and Akai is applying to the Covet University of Applied Sciences to do his master's in global business and management. And there's a couple of questions here. First, can I study in Covet University Applied Sciences but stay at Jyväskylä and go to the university when required? In Finland, we have something called academic freedom, basically meaning that you can study as much as you want and with the pace that you want, as long as you do your courses. So if you do not have mandatory attendance at school, you can stay wherever you want and then go to class when you are required to. However, I do not know about Covet and the courses that they have in the business degree and how much mandatory attendance they have during the courses, so it's very hard for me to say. But as a general rule of thumb, no one cares whether or not you are in the school. It's your personal responsibility to fulfill the requirements for each of the courses. And if you don't want to go to class, that's fine. No one cares. It's your job to make sure that you learn the stuff that you're supposed to learn so that you can pass your courses. That's it. It's called academic freedom. That's something that we have in Finland. Second, if they ask why Comet University, not something other, what should I answer? Be honest. Be honest. Why do you want to go to Comet? There's no general kind of default answer for you to give that would, amaze the interviewers. Just be honest and try to look up information about Comet and try to figure out why are you honestly interested about the university. If you try to make up this actually applies to everyone. For example, when you apply to work in Finland as well. If an interviewer asks you at a university or in a job interview, when they ask you, why did you apply to this job, or why do you want to work for us? If you give them some kind of a default magic answer that you found on the internet, they will not select you. In Finland, there are no kind of magic answers to these questions. The best for you is to actually be honest and have a good constructive answer to these questions, and actually give them a reason for you to for them to hire you. If you say that, oh, this company or this university is the best in the world, and I read that this is so awesome, and I know that I'm the perfect candidate for this university because I fulfill the values that the university has. No one cares. They're not gonna select you because they know that you don't really mean it. So be honest, be direct, and try to, before any kind of an interview, try to actually figure out why you're applying to a job or a university, and that's the best way for you to go. And then third, what kind of part-time jobs will I get while pursuing MBAs? You will get no kind of part-time jobs. You might be able to apply for jobs. No one is going to give you jobs. You need to apply for them. And again, you can apply for basically anything that has to do with business. Whatever. There's so many kind of jobs that you can do if you are pursuing a degree in business that it's impossible for me to list them out. I've worked in sales. I worked in marketing. I've worked as a customer manager, customer service person. I've worked in grocery store. I worked in retail. I worked in B2B. I worked in social media. I have my own business. I've had multiple startups. If you are majoring in finance, you could work at a bank, you could work whatever. There's no concrete rules here. Whatever it is that you're interested in, you can basically apply for, especially in business. It's such a wide field. There's no list. Unfortunately, there's no list. Anyway, what was I saying? All right. The next question comes from David from Poland. Lost my thoughts for a moment. And David from Poland is starting school this semester at the Häme University of Applied Sciences, doing his bachelor's in computer applications, which is interesting. And the question is, what is the average cost for hairdressers or barbers in Finland? No idea. My guess would be 12 euros per hour, 10, 12 euros per hour. Depends, of course, if you work for yourself or if you, work, what kind of a company you're working for. However, do note that most barbers or hairdressers require you to actually have a degree, vocational degree in the field. So if you do not have if you're not a professional hairdresser or barber, it's going to be very difficult for you to find any kind of a job, because in Finland we actually have a vocational degree. People go to school to become hairdressers and barbers, so just take that into account. Then the next question comes from Srojit, again from India, and the question is, let's jump right into it. Hey Oliver, I wanted to ask about the living cost in Oulu, and also wanted to know how long it would take for me to get a permanent residency in Finland, and I'm 16 currently, and the main thing is, how many years of stay back do we get in Finland for applying for a job? Okay, couple of questions here. Let's take these one by one, and while I'm answering the question, if you guys are getting some value out of my answers and the stream, do remember to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm gods. That will tell YouTube that you're actually getting some value out of this, and they will post the live stream to other people, and I would highly appreciate that. So yeah, to the questions, When you have graduated from Finland, from a university or a University of Applied Sciences, if you do not yet have a job before graduation, you will get you're able to apply for a 1-year residence permit or visa to look for jobs in Finland. However, if you're not able to find a job within that year, then you will most likely not be able to stay here. However, so basically after you graduate, if you do not already have a job, which many people have because people apply for jobs before they graduate, you will be able to stay in Finland for 1 year to look for jobs. Then, how long will it take after graduation for you to be able to apply for a permanent residency? A couple of years. Depends on your studies. So usually when you come to Finland, you need to work full-time in Finland for 4 years before you can apply for permanent residency. However, because you will study here, you don't have to work for the full 4 years. I don't remember the exact amount of time, but it's between 3 to 4 years that you need to work in Finland full time after your studies before you can apply for a permanent residency. And then from there, if you want a citizenship, you have to then have a permanent residency here for a couple of more years, and then you can apply for a citizenship. About living costs in Oulu. Oulu is of course cheaper than the capital region, but I would still recommend you to have around 600 euros per year per month per person in order to do well. The apartments your rent is going to be the biggest part of your monthly living costs, and the apartment rent levels in Oulu are much lower than in Helsinki. But for example, the cost of food, transport, internet, all of this stuff, it's basically the exact same everywhere around Finland. So the only thing that is going to vary between cities is rent. It's not exactly like this, but pretty much so. So I would say 600 euros per month and you're going to be just fine. You will get a nice apartment. You will be able to spend money without having to pinch, every single penny. And then you might be able to, also travel a bit more. Let's see. For now, let's jump back into the chat for just a second. Actually, because we actually have quite a bit of people online right now following the stream. Just let me know in the chat, where are you actually from, the country as well as the city, because it would be awesome to know from which city you're from. For example, if you're from India, what city are you actually from? So just write your country and city into the chat, and let's see who we have here present. All right, let's see. When do we have the chat? Tanvir Shahriar saying, hey, you and Alex, you should start a podcast if you get some free time. Yeah, that's actually something that we've been talking with Alexi, not necessarily about a podcast, but about doing some collaborations. The problem is that, of course, during COVID, we haven't been able to, see physically. And also, we're both really busy. Alex is also working on another job alongside his studies. Alongside YouTube, and I actually have a couple of own companies that I'm running alongside YouTube, so I'm really short on extra time. So it would be awesome to have some kind of a podcast with Alexi or with a couple of other people as well. However, I'm not sure if we're able to do that right now. Hopefully after the summer, that would be awesome. Really good idea. Let's see. Mostly talking about COVID and the difference. All right, okay, nothing really for me. So let's jump back into the form. The next question from the Google form comes from Sabur, who comes from Pakistan and is also a regular on the channel, which is highly, highly appreciated. And Sabur is starting school this semester, doing his master's degree in chemical engineering, which is awesome. And the question is, how can I roughly state the location of Aalto University? If an interviewer asks me about how far is your university from the capital region, that's a very good question. First of all, Aalto University is in the capital region. The capital region in Finland consists of multiple cities. So let's actually show this. There you go. Let's actually, I'll just show this to you really quickly. So, whoops, nope, there you go. All right, so here is Helsinki. Helsinki is approximately an area around here. You cannot really see the lines between the different cities because the Helsinki, the Finnish capital region, is actually about this size. So we have multiple cities inside the capital region. We actually have Espoo, which is a city of its own. We have Helsinki, which is the capital city. We have Vantaa, and we have Kirkkonummi, which is basically here. Then we have Sipoo, which is basically here. So we have multiple different cities inside the capital region. So Aalto University is inside the capital region, if you are being asked about this, technically speaking. Aalto University is here. The campus of Aalto University is called Otaniemi, as you can see right here. Otaniemi is the campus, or the area which the campus is named after. And the center of Helsinki, the main railway station of Helsinki is here. You can actually see the tracks right here. And from here to here, it's around 5 kilometers. If I know 7 kilometers, let's see. Let's see, from the main railway station to Otaniemi, it's by car, it's actually... I'm sorry, actually, it's 12 kilometers, not as the bird fly or the crow flies, but through the main biggest road, it's 12 kilometers. It's only 20-ish minutes by car, or, for example, using the metro line. So it's the Aalto University campus is super close to the center of Helsinki. However, you have to note that Aalto University itself is actually not in Helsinki. Aalto University is in the city of Espoo, which again is here on the western side of the capital region. So the border between Helsinki and Espoo actually goes right about here. So it's Otaniemi is only just a couple of kilometers away from Helsinki, technically speaking. So if you are being asked about this in an interview to Aalto University, now you know. That's an interesting question. Hello Positivity, you're most welcome. Hello Positivity saying thanks for being kind enough to take out your time for us. You're most welcome. This is actually quite a fun way for me to actually spend my evenings. Plus, I know that you guys have a lot of different questions, so this is actually a great way for me to contribute into the community, because it's sometimes it's a bit difficult to answer all the questions in the comments, for example, with as much depth as I would want to. So doing these live streams is actually a very good way for me to answer questions. Hello Positivity also saying, if I get admission in master's degree in global business at KAMK University of Applied Sciences, will I be able to reach Finland, or do I need to study in India online only? It's difficult to say at this point because it depends on the situation in India. The current problems with India, people from India not getting their residence permits to Finland, is simply because the embassy of Finland in India has been closed for quite a while because of the current situation. So that's a bit of a problem right now, because you need to have your biometrics taken at the embassy before you can actually get your residence permit to Finland. So that's the main reason why people from India haven't been able to come to Finland during the COVID situation. Jet Koti is actually correct. Please, guys, if you could, that would be very nice of you, if you could keep the discussions in the chat in English, because we have an international community, and it would be awesome to for everyone to actually keep to a language that everyone else can understand as well. So that would be highly appreciated. Jet Koti, thanks for bringing this up. If this of course happens again, let me know, and I will mention that out loud to everyone. Anyway, the next question comes from Nadine Hossain. And Nadine is also a regular on the channel, and Nadine is coming from Bangladesh and applying to his bachelor's in ERP, which is enterprise, what is it? enterprise resource planning, basically. And the question is, hey Oliver, hopefully you're doing well. Thank you very much. I'm actually doing quite well. Hopefully you're doing good as well. After a long time, we're meeting in the live stream. Yes, indeed we are. Firstly, I apologize to you for a long description below. Here it is. I applied in Centralia University of Applied Sciences this year, but I did not get accepted because... I did get admitted, but I did not accept the offer letter because of the pandemic situation in my country, in India, as well. So in next year, 2022, I'm going to apply again. As my financial capabilities, I'm searching such universities of applied sciences, which have low tuition fees, around 4,000 to 6,000 euros. Can you help me with this a little bit? My preferable program would be in would be enterprise resource programs or systems in the bachelor's. So Nadine, that's a great question. I actually, if you go to my channel, I have a video about tuition fees in Finland. You can just look in YouTube, Finnish university tuition fees, and my video should come up first. Go to that video, and in the description of that video, there's a link to a free Google spreadsheet. So it's basically just an Excel file. And in that Excel file, I actually list every single university in Finland and their tuition fees. At this moment, I do not have universities of applied sciences listed there. However, I will try to update that list as soon as possible within a couple of weeks. So just go check that out every few days. And if I have not updated it in a couple of weeks, please just let me know in the Discord channel, and I will make that list or update that list for everyone. The problem here is that the program in enterprise resource planning systems, I'm actually not even sure if there are programs that are that specific. There most likely are programs that include ERP type of topics in the program, but I actually have never heard of any kind of bachelor's programs that are specifically about enterprise resource planning systems. So that's why I really cannot help you here right now, because I would need to look into this a bit more before I can give you a concrete answer. Of course, again, if you want to ask this question again, ask this in the Discord server, and I will be able to look into it a bit more, but it will take me a bit time to actually get back to you. By the way, talking about the Discord server, if you guys have not yet joined as a member on the server, I highly recommend that you do. So the idea of the server is to basically build a community of people interested in studying, living, and working in Finland. And in the server, the people in the community, not just me, so a lot of different people answer each other's questions. We are around 600 right now in the server. So it's a really great resource for anyone to ask any kind of questions about studying, living, and working in Finland. And also in the server, I post updates about upcoming videos and live streams just like this one. So if you want to be the first one to know about new videos when they come out, I highly recommend that you join the server as well. Jet Koti with another super sticker, trying to make me do really funny faces. I'll do this really quickly for you, my man, for all the support. That's something like something like this. I think would be the closest that I can get to the super sticker. Thanks, man. That's always highly appreciated. Thanks for making fun of myself, as always. Anyways, the next question comes from Shaikh MD Amar, who is also a regular on the channel, which is highly appreciated. And Shaikh is from India and has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in a master's in microbiology or molecular biology. And the question is, I want to study in Finland, but I do not know what should I do. Please help me out with this. So what I would recommend you to do, Shaikh, at this point, because you are very early in the kind of process, go to my YouTube channel. And I have a bunch of videos about all the kind of basics that you need to know. So go to the channel after the stream, of course, and start watching videos in this playlist. This playlist is basically about all the basic things that you need to know if you want to study in Finland. After you have gone through all of these, then start going through these videos where I talk about the application process and the admission where I talk about the application and admission process in Finland. Excuse me. Application and admission process in Finland. Then after that, start going through these, or the two most recent ones, where these are basically just updates to the old videos. In these, I talk about tuition fees and scholarships in Finland, so that's a very important topic for you to know. After that, start going through these videos where I talk about student apartments in Finland. Student apartments are very important for students in Finland because they're extremely affordable, and you can save thousands of euros during your studies if you get a student apartment. Compared to a private apartment from a private sector. Then start going through these videos and these videos. You get my point. I have a lot of resources on the channel where I talk about all the things that you need to know about studying in Finland, how to apply, how much it costs, when to apply, where to find the correct schools, etc. So start going through the processes and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and put on the notification, so the bell under the video there. Put on all notifications so that you will know when I post new videos, because I will keep on posting every single week, starting from next week again. But yeah, so a lot of stuff that you need to know. Start going through the questions. The videos that I have on the channel already. Cool. Hello, Positive. Also saying a very positive message. Oliver, you should be an actor in Hollywood. Thank you. I'm not sure whether I should take that as a compliment or, or of course that's a compliment. Thank you so much. I've never been into acting. I've always been very awkward about any kind of acting jobs. For example, when in school you had to do some kind of plays. Also, it might not kind of come through to your side of things. I'm actually a bit of an introvert. This is actually funny because I've heard that a lot of YouTubers are actually introverts, and it's much easier for us to talk to a camera when there's no one else here in the same room, rather than, having a lot of people, in the same space at the same time. Usually, for example, in parties, I'm usually the one who is just, sitting outside, having a drink and, watching the sunset, instead of, being in the crowd, dancing and so on. So that's actually something for you to know about me personally. That's kind of thing. Cool. The next question comes from Katrina Clarice, who comes from the Philippines, and just once again reminding everyone, for example, Mr. Indian Gamer, if you want your question to be answered, please post your question into the Google form as it says on the screen, because if you post your question into the chat, it is most likely that I will miss your question and not answer it. Post your questions into the Google form if you want them to be answered live. Anyways, let's see. Anyway, the question from Katrina comes from the Philippines, and she has not yet decided whether or not she wants to study in Finland. Let's change your mind. But she's interested in a master's in the culinary arts. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. And she's saying, hi, I'm a bachelor's degree graduate here in the Philippines. What can you suggest that I should... What can you suggest that I could possibly take if I'm going to... I'm a bachelor's degree graduate here in the Philippines. What can you suggest for me to take if I'm going to study in Finland? Thank you. Interesting question. Katarina, to be honest, I don't think Finland has any kind of a university level degree in culinary arts. To be honest, we do have multiple vocational schools where you actually learn to become a chef or professional chef, or work in restaurants or in hotels. But I have no idea whether or not you could actually do a master's in culinary arts. However, what I do know is that you can actually do a master's in food sciences. And for example, for that, I would recommend that you look up the University of Helsinki. They have a master's degree in food sciences. I am not quite certain whether the master's degree is in English, but if it is, I think that might be very interesting for you. I actually know a couple of people who have done their master's degree in this field, and they have liked it very much. And all of these people basically work in the food industry, basically in researching different foods and creating new food. For example, future food for the new age. I don't know what that even means, but you hopefully you get the point. However, if you want to kind of give me a bit more around this, what do you actually want to do after graduation? That would help me a bit. So if you just want to ping me in the chat, just let me know what do you actually want to do after you graduate. It might help me a bit with my answer, but without any extra information, I cannot really give you any more context to this, because I don't know if you can study culinary arts in Finland in a master's level. So yeah, I'm kind of stuck here. Anyway, let's see. Jet Koti saying in the chat, Oliver, being introvert is just being Finnish. That's very true. That's very true. Let's see. Also saying that. Jet Koti saying to Beth, in Finland, age is not a barrier for studying anything, so go on, all the best. That's very good, true. And Beth is actually somewhere asking here. Yeah, Beth Kirk asking, are older students ever accepted to bachelor's studies in Finland? My ancient degree is in accounting. Now I'm interested in design and the arts. Yeah, Beth. First of all, Jet, thank you so much for always contributing into the discussions. By the way, Jet, if you ever want me to comment or elaborate on any of the things that you are helping other people do remember to ping me, because then I will see my name in red in the chat, so it's a bit easier for me to see with my side view. Preferrals. Really difficult word to say. Never mind. But yeah, Beth, no, there's absolutely no age restrictions in Finland when it comes to studies. Kind of, to be frank, no one gives a about your age when you come to study in Finland. I have friends who started studies, bachelor's degrees at the same time with me in my same group, basically, of new students. When I was 21, and we had someone who was 35, we had someone who was 29, we had someone who was over 40 and had actually come to Finland as a refugee. No one cares. Some people actually in Finland, they re-educate themselves after having 20 years of experience in their own field. For example, my girlfriend is currently studying 2 different degrees. She's the same age as I am. However, in her class at Metropolia, she actually has someone who has done a long career in business, and suddenly she decided that it's not something that she wants to do anymore. So she applied to study a completely different field, being 45 plus with kids. So no one cares about your age, and it's not going to have any kind of impact on your application. So absolutely apply. And also best of luck. All right, let's see. Then we have a next question comes from Nadine Hossain, who comes from Bangladesh. And Nadine is asking, do any universities of applied sciences accept PTE language proficiency tests instead of IELTS for any kinds of programs? Nadim, that's a good question. The answer is I don't know. I have not gone through every single University of Applied Sciences requirement pages or application pages, so I simply cannot say yes or no to this question. You need to go through the pages on your own. There's way too many UAEs in Finland for me to, remember all the specs for each by heart. So unfortunately, I just don't remember, unfortunately. Great question though. I just don't have an answer. Then the next question comes from Aryan, who comes from India again. And Aryan saying, hi, how much would it would cost for living and studying a bachelor's in data science? I am new to your channel. First of all, Aryan, welcome to the channel. Awesome to have you here. If you are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to the channel and put on notifications that you get notified when I upload future videos. First of all, if you are new to the channel, after the stream, start going through the videos on my channel, because in those videos, in the videos that I already have on the channel, I go through almost everything that you need to know about studying in Finland, and I post new videos every single week, so there's a lot of videos for you to go through already. To your question, the cost of living in Finland is not dependent on the field that you study. Rather, it's mostly about the city where you study in. The cost of living in Finland, of course, it depends on the city, as I mentioned. However, I would say that having 600 euros per month for living costs, meaning rent, food, travel, internet, phone, etc., that's going to be just okay for you. It's going to be a bit more expensive if you live in the Helsinki, in the capital region. However, even in the capital region, you can go by with around 600 euros per month, but it's going to be a bit more tight. My personal recommendation for everyone is to have around 700 to 800 euros per month for living costs, simply because that will give you a bit more flexibility. So for example, if you want to travel or if you want to have fun and, go out a bit more, you will have that option too. If you have around, 500-600 euros per month, you will most likely not have much money after your basic expenses, so you will not be able to enjoy life that much. So having a couple of €100 extra each month is going to give you a bit more flexibility. Then to your question about how much is it going to cost to study data science. So the cost of studying in Finland, and again, I have a video about this on the channel. If you just go on YouTube in general and look for how much does it cost to study in Finland, or university tuition fees in Finland, you should find my videos on the top results. And in those, I explain this in more detail. However, in summary, in Finland, the cost of your studies depends always on the school that you apply to, as well as the program that you apply to. So for example, if you apply to, let's say, Aalto University, which is the #1 university in Finland in business, for example, for a great option for you, and it's also my institution where I studied. The tuition fee, so how much it costs to study there, each year on bachelor's level is 12,000 euros per year. So that's a lot of money. On master's level, it costs 15,000 euros per year. And it's the length of your studies is 3 years for bachelor's and 2 years for master's. So that basically means 3 times 12,000 euros and then plus 2 times 15,000 euros. So that's the entire cost of your studies throughout your degree. However, there are plenty of schools in Finland which have much lower tuition fees than that. So you should go and check the video that I have on the channel about tuition fees. Then the other stuff, the other thing that you need to take into account that within a single school, you might have multiple different tuition fees depending on the program that you're applying to. For example, at the University of Helsinki, they have the tuition fees go from, I think, 10,000 euros all the way up to 18,000 euros per year, depending on the program that you're applying to. So it's again always dependent on the school and the program that you're applying to. And then the living costs are mostly reliant or dependent on the city that you live in. Again, I have very detailed explanations about both of these topics on the channel already, so I really recommend that you go and check those out. And if you have any questions about these topics after watching those videos, write a comment into the videos. I try to answer as many comments, basically every single comment that comes to my channel. It just takes a bit more time for me to answer in the comments, maybe a couple of days, but I try to get back to everyone. So hopefully that answered your question. Rakkin asking in the chat, actually a very good question. What's the best time of year to visit Finland? That's actually an interesting question. It depends on what you like. So you have to take into account that in Finland we have very heavy seasons. So we have, we have different seasons. We have the summer, we have autumn, we have winter, and we have the spring. And they're all very different from each other. And you have different kind of activities and things that you can do all throughout the year. Summer in Finland is awesome, especially if you come from a country like India or South Africa or Southern America, where the average temperatures are very hot or warm, the summer in Finland is actually very mild for you guys. So it's actually very nice. There's a lot of things to do during the summer all throughout the country. There's a lot of music festivals. There's a lot of, different sports activities happening. There's a lot of, the nature is just absolutely beautiful during the summer. Then on the other hand, if you like to try skiing or other winter sports, of course, then the winter would be the one thing to you. Or if you want to, if you come from the, India or somewhere else where you might not have snow, then of course coming here during the winter is more exotic. So I would recommend winter absolutely. Personally, I love all the different seasons because there's different things and different, positives about each of the seasons throughout the year. So great question. Jet Cody actually saying to the same topic, winters are good too, but people are much more open and joyful in the summer. That's actually a very good point because during the summer, people have just much more energy. The days are longer, which means that we have more sunlight because during the winter, the days are shorter. The sun is above the horizon for much longer time than during the summer when we have almost limitless daylight. Especially during the summer, if you live high north in Finland, there is actually a month-long period during which the sun doesn't even dip below the horizon at all. And during the winter, it's the opposite. So there's a long period during which the sun doesn't come up over the horizon at all. If you have to live quite high up north in Finland, but it still exists. Cool. Anyway. Let's see. The next question in the forum comes from Nick Gurr, who comes from Canada. Welcome, Nick. Awesome to have someone from Canada here as well. And Nick is coming to Finland for work, not for school. Awesome. And Nick is saying that he's coming to Finland for cleaning, which is I think might be a joke. And Nick saying, just wanted to write this message to thank you, Oliver. You're the best. Thank you, Nick, so much. That is very much appreciated. Thank you very much for the positive, polite message. That's highly appreciated. Of course, Nick, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, I would be more than happy to answer them. For example, in the chat, just ping me in the chat, or at your service, basically. The reason for the entire channel is to help you guys out with all of the topics. So I'm happy to hear that these are you're getting some value out of this. Talking of which, if you guys are indeed getting some value out of the stream, I would highly appreciate it if you would consider clicking the like button below the video. That will tell the YouTube algorithm gods that you're actually getting some value out of the video or the stream, and that will push the stream to other people as well. So that's much appreciated. Anyways, the next question comes from Beth Kirk from the US, and Beth has a question here. I spent 6 weeks in Suomi as an English tutor, Suomi being the Finnish term for Finland. And so I spent 6 weeks as an English tutor in summer of 1974. Cool, that's awesome. I love your country. And the question is, do foreigners ever retire in Finland? Would it be hard to do so? I'm 64 years old. Maybe I can at least visit again someday. Time spent in Lappeenranta. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. People retire in Finland. If you live in Finland permanently and you have a permanent residency here, and you are within the Finnish social security network and as well inside the Finnish pension system, yeah, absolutely, you do retire. Of course, the retirement age depends on what kind of a job you have, and whether you work for yourself or for some other company. But yeah, absolutely, international people do retire here, and they also get their pension here if they are permanent residents or citizens in Finland. Absolutely. But yeah, thank you so much, Beth, for the awesome comment. It's very interesting to hear about your story as well. Being in Finland in 1974, Finland is quite a bit of a different country nowadays compared to 40 years, compared to almost that's almost 50 years from now, from then. So that's really cool. Anyway, the next question comes from Mihail Nadirats, who is a regular on the channel. Awesome to have you here again. And the Mihail is from Georgia, starting school at doing his master's in finance in the Hunking School of Economics, which is one of the best business schools in Finland, which is awesome. It's really cool that you got admitted there. I've mentioned this multiple times. And Mihail is saying, "Hey Oliver, hopefully you're doing well. Thank you very much for asking. I'm actually doing quite well. I got housing in the Viki area and would like to know a few general things about the region. Is it safe and convenient place to live in?" Wow. Okay, first of all, congratulations on getting an apartment from Viki. Viki is one of the best places in Helsinki to live in as a student. First of all, it's actually the campus area for the Helsinki University. They have multiple different faculties at the Viki campus, the University of Helsinki specifically. For example, the faculty of agroecology, agronomists. There's, for example, the school of what is this called? Veterinarian, the school of veterinarian, I think veterinary, whatever it is, the pronunciation. Vets are educated at the Viki campus, and it's just beautiful. It's even though it's quite close to the city center of Helsinki, it's actually almost like it's on the countryside, because the University of Helsinki has their experimental farmlands there. So it's absolutely beautiful, especially during the summer. I have a couple of friends living in Viki, and actually my brother is currently right now in Viki at the University of Helsinki laboratories doing his PhD research. And I would absolutely love to live in Viki, get an apartment there. It's super safe. It's super safe, for example, for families with children, and it's very well connected. There's really good public transportation from Viki to the city center. It's also not that far, so you can get from Viki to Helsinki or to the center in around half an hour. With just one connection, and it's just an awesome place. It's super lovely. For example, a lot of people like to go running in Viki because it's just a lovely neighborhood. So yeah, absolutely awesome, super great area. I would be personally very, very satisfied living in Viki. Of course, it's not right in the center of Helsinki, so if you would have wanted to live a bit closer, there would have been other options as well. But I would love to live in Viki at any time. I would accept a place in Viki at any point in time. It's awesome. It's really awesome. So congratulations. That's really cool. And again, studying at Hanken, your commute is actually not going to be that bad. It's actually going to be quite nice. So definitely cool. Veterinarian. Thank you, Jetkoti. The school of veterinarians. God damn it. Pronunciation. English is not my first language, as you guys have probably noticed. Anyway, the next question comes from Tiara Mendez, who comes from Trinidad. Which is awesome. I don't think, actually, Tiara, welcome first of all to the stream. I don't remember you asking questions before. I also don't remember us having anyone from Trinidad before, so that's really cool. We're basically, having people from all around the world, which is awesome. Welcome. And Tiara is still in high school and is interested in doing a bachelor's in engineering at the University of Helsinki. So first of all, I just wanted to mention that the University of Helsinki does not have a faculty in engineering. So you cannot apply to the University of Helsinki to study engineering. However, there are other excellent options for you. For example, Aalto University, which is the #1 university in engineering and technology. Again, it's also my home institution from where I've done my bachelor's as well as my master's degrees. Then the question is, all right, there are abbreviations. I'm going to need someone's help here. I have done a I have done a CSE CSEC and a CAPE. So CES and CAPE tests. How do I know if Finnish universities will take these test scores? Do they have someone who converts the scores to something else? That's actually a very good question. I've actually never heard of CSEC or CAPE test before. Getting a bit tired here. I've actually never heard of these tests before, so I'm not quite sure what they are. I'm thinking, are they basically comparable to GREs or GMATs or SATs or something like this, or are they specifically for the engineering field? Having said this, unfortunately, I don't have an answer here because I don't know the tests. However, if they are some specific tests that are not equivalent, or if they are not directly comparable to, for example, GREs or SATs or something like this, then it is highly likely that universities in Finland will not accept these tests. The problem with many Finnish universities is actually this is actually a big problem in my mind, is that they have only a very limited amount of tests, aptitude tests, that they accept to each university. And the problem, another problem here is that the exact tests that you need to do for each university admission or application is dependent also on the school as well as the degree that you're applying to. So for example, if you're applying for a bachelor's in engineering at Aalto University, my understanding is that you need to do the SATs in order to apply. However, I'm not 100% sure. You need to check this from the Aalto University website. However, the SATs are the most common aptitude test used in Finland for bachelor's level programs. So please just take this into account. If you want to check this, check which tests are accepted to bachelor's in engineering. You would need to go to the university websites and look for the program that you would be interested in. Actually, let's do this as an example. So if you, for example, would be interested in doing a bachelor's degree in engineering, what I would recommend you to do is to look at the Aalto University, because it's the, again, #1 university in engineering and technology. So just search on Google Aalto Bachelor's in English, and you will find this this link here. Bachelor's programs in English, and specifically the one that says aalto.fi. Do not look for the link that says into.aalto, because it's the intranet for the university. So this is not the correct link. Look for the aalto.fi link. Go there, and from here you can actually find the different bachelor's programs that they have in English. And for example, here in science and technology, the programs in engineering are under the section science and technology. You could find a degree, for example, in in computational engineering, chemical engineering, or for example in quantum technology. So do note that these are not it is very rare in Finland to have a program that is named specifically a program in engineering. In Finland, they are usually named something else. However, for example, if you do a degree in computational engineering or quantum technology, that will open up a path to multiple different master's degrees. So if you do a degree in computational engineering, it doesn't mean that you have to become a computer scientist. Or if you do a degree in quantum technology, it doesn't mean that you have to study quantum technology in your master's. Rather, you can also study many other fields, and the master's opportunities are also usually listed in these program pages. However, if we just click here and then click how to apply, you should then get to the application page, and let's see, the admission process. So in the admission process, international students are in the admission group 2. There's 2 different groups here. Basically, the group 1 is if you have done a Finnish high school degree, and a couple of other options. So you are in admission group 2. And for a bachelor's degree in engineering, you need to do the SATs. basically. I know that the SATs have changed since last year because some of the tests were actually are not conducted anymore. So please check this information later at the end of summer, or for example in September, when the information for the application have been updated. So this information is not up to date, and this might actually change a bit. However, you will still have to do some kind of an SAT test at some point. Cool. Excuse me. Anyways, the next question from the forum comes from Alexandra, who comes from Russia. And Alexandra is already in Finland, which is awesome, doing her master's in forestry. And there's a rather long question here, so just bear with me. Hi, Oliver. My university financially supports students doing internships in Finland. However, one of the requirements to receive support is that I already must be paid by my employer at least the minimum Finnish salary around 1,200 euros per month. No need to explain why I find this fact confusing. My internship will not be paid, so I really need my university to financially support me, but it seems that I cannot get any financial support from my university. Does it happen in other universities as well? Is this normal? Why so? I want to talk to the administrator of my university, and I really need some advice. How can I approach them and sound appropriate when talking with them? Thank you. So, interesting question. I actually never heard of this kind of a restriction before. So first of all, universities in Finland do not usually support their students when their students do internships. That's just a general rule of thumb. However, also at the same time, my opinion is that you should never, ever in Finland, never, ever do a free internship unless there's only one exception here. Unless the internship is directly linked into your studies. I do not mean that if you study business and you're going to apply for a business internship at a private company, that is not linked into your studies. What I mean is that, for example, when you are study at a University of Applied Sciences, many of these degrees have a mandatory internship or traineeship period where you need to work for like a month or 2 months, and those are usually unpaid, but they are directly linked into your degree because you actually get study credits from those internships or traineeships. However, if you study at a university and this internship is not directly a part of your university degree, I would never accept a unpaid internship in Finland. In Finland, we do not do unpaid internships, period. That's not a thing in Finland. If companies ask you or try to get you to do an unpaid internship, and this applies to every single one of you, if a company asks you to do an unpaid internship, which is not directly linked in your degree, in that you get credits, you actually progress in your studies for doing that internship, you should never accept this kind of a internship. This means that the company is trying to use you because you do not know better. In Finland, we do not do free internships. It's not a thing here. These unpaid internships are things in the US, they're a thing in the UK, for especially in many consultancy, in many business fields. However, it's not a thing in Finland, period. I want to be as concise here. I want to be as clear as possible. I have heard from multiple people who have already arrived to Finland that they were contacted by a company, or they contacted a company in Finland asking, looking for a job, and the company said that, well, we don't have anything, any kind of a paid position, but you could do an free internship or unpaid internship to us, and then you could, you can have that as a, CV thing. You can have that internship in your CV. Screw that. You do not do a single free unpaid internship in Finland unless it is exactly required in your degree. Period. Not going to say anything about this anymore. Alexandra, please contact me via LinkedIn, and I want to talk about this about this with you because I want to know more about this and whether or not it's directly linked into your degree. Alexandra, if you're still live, there's a link to my LinkedIn profile in the description box below. Please send me a message on LinkedIn saying who you are and you asked about this on LinkedIn in the stream, and I want to talk to you about this. But for everyone else, for sake, do not accept any free unpaid positions ever in Finland. We do not work for free in Finland, period. Second thing, actually relating to this, if an employer, if a company wants to hire you and the position is paid, and they tell you that they don't want you to sign any kind of a work contract, do not accept the job. They are avoiding taxes, and that is illegal, and you might be soliciting a crime yourself as well. Because if you do not sign a job contract, it means that the company is not paying taxes from your salary, which means that you're not either paying taxes that you need to pay, and that's a tax that is tax avoiding in Finland, and it's a crime. Every single time that you work, you have to have a written contract, employment contract, before you work a single minute for the company. In Finland, we do not work without written job employment agreements, and we do not work for free unless it's strictly a part of your studies. Anyway, so hopefully I was clear enough. I don't want to go back into this. You can see that I'm getting a bit mad here or angry. I absolutely freaking hate any kind of companies that are using people because they don't know better. It's very rare in Finland, but it still happens. And, you have been warned. If you ever have any kind of problems like this, please contact me on LinkedIn and I will help you out. Anyways, moving on. Anyways, moving on to the next question, which comes from Jamjivi, who comes from France. And Jamjivi is coming to Finland for work, not for school, specifically in the field of data science. And the question is, I volunteered to Slush 2019 and I found it very useful for networking with peers, startups and big companies. In 2021, the event was held online due to the pandemic. Will a regular edition of Slush return in Finland in 2021? Yes, it will. And actually they are looking for volunteers right now. So you are your timing is perfect. So if you guys don't know what Jamjiri is talking about, she's actually talking about she's actually talking about the biggest startup event in Finland. It's also the most important startup event in the world. And Slush happens every single year between the end of November and the start of December. And it's basically a massive event where in previous years, 12,000 people from different startups, media, investors come to Finland from all around the world to Helsinki to this 2-day event. And it's one of the best events actually to volunteer. So if you want to get some volunteer experience, have a really awesome 2-day experience. Slush is fully run by volunteers. So again, actually referring to what I just said about working for free, Slush is actually an organization run by volunteers. So it's all volunteers. Only the core team, like the core 10 people who work for Slush full-time around the year, only those people are paid salaries. Everyone else is volunteering in order to make this happen. It's a really cool event, and if you want some kind of work experience from volunteering, Slush is actually a super well-known event in Finland, and it's very highly appreciated. And if you have Slush volunteering as a mark in your CV, that is going to be a really big thing. And they're actually looking for volunteers right now. So if you are coming to Finland starting in August or September, I would apply for Slush volunteering. I'm actually going to make a video about them in the future as well. But really good question. Yes, they are indeed they're actually doing the event physically in Helsinki this year, and they're looking for volunteers right now. Great question. Jed Cotti saying Oliver can also be a detective or an investigative journalist exposing scams. I would not want to do that. I would just have my head explode. I get too mad about this kind of things, especially about this kind of job related or employment related crap that some companies pull. But yeah. Anyways, moving on. The next question from the forum comes from Astrid, who comes from Nepal, and Astrid is still in high school and is looking for a bachelor's in something. He has not yet finished his high school degree, so I'm not sure yet. And the question is, what is the most in-demand jobs in Finland in which foreigners can easily get a job after graduation in the field of technology? Oh, this is actually an interesting question. And again, I've mentioned this already before in the stream, is that I would always recommend you to, instead of looking at the field that has the most in-demand jobs, I would always look at the field that you're most interested in personally. There's multiple reasons for this, but the kind of biggest reasons are, number one, if you apply for to study a field that you're not really that interested in, but you applied for that because it has a lot of jobs, you're not most likely going to be that interested in studying or working hard, meaning that you're not going to get good grades, meaning that you're going to have bad GPA, meaning that you're not going to know your stuff really well, meaning that no one really wants to hire you, because even if you have a degree, no one cares, because everyone in Finland has a master's degree, basically. So it's not the degree that separates you from the pack, it's the expertise and experience. So I would rather have you study a field that you're super interested in, because when you're interested in something, you put in more effort, and then you get really, really good at what you do. And then it's easier for you to find a job, even if the field is a bit smaller. Having said this, in technology, specifically at this time, and do note that this can change in the future. So this is why, again, apply to study a field that you're interested in instead of what I'm saying here. Having said this, the specific areas in technology that are in high demand, software development, any kind of software development is always in high demand. However, inside of software development, machine learning, machine vision, AI, all of this kind of stuff, big data, data science, all of this is super, super high in demand right now, and it's going to keep growing in the future as well. In addition, robotics, automation, electronics, embedded development, anything that has to do with any kind of robotics or anything that has to do about serving our robot overlords. Hail Skynet, anything like that is going to be in high demand in the future as well. So I would say that those are absolutely the ones that are really, really good. But then on the other hand, if you just want to study a more traditional engineering degree, mechanical engineering, constructional engineering, machine engineering, automotive engineering, all of this stuff is always good to have. And these are massive fields, and there's always going to be jobs in those as well. So engineering in general, very good choice. And then I would just choose the field that you're very, very interested in. Great question though. Then the next question comes from Nirmal from India, and Nirmal is still in high school, but applying to Aalto to do his bachelor's in data sciences. And the question is how high of an SAT score do I need for getting accepted? The exact minimum SAT scores to get accepted into the bachelor's in data science, I don't remember. There is the Aalto University does publicize the statistics for the absolute minimum for getting accepted. However, please note that changes every single year. So if you, for example, have 1200 as the SAT score for this year, do note that can change and go up for the next year. So please do not rely on the minimum scores that the universities have on their websites. Try to get as high scores as possible, and only use the minimum scores that they have. Well, for example, let's see. Although, let's just see for the heck of it. So, bachelor's in... Actually, we don't have a bachelor's in data science in the I'm sorry. Yes, we have. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong school. How to apply? Then let's see. Admission group 2, minimum score, SAT test 1200 and SAT subject in math 650. So these are the absolute minimums in order for you to be even considered to the university. However, please note that admission in Finland is always competitive. So if you are just barely above the minimum score, it is highly likely that you're not admitted, because there's always going to be people who have gone much higher, and then they're, they have gotten really good scores from their language proficiency tests, etc. So aim much higher than this if you want to get admitted to study in Finland. This is not going to be enough. Absolutely not going to be enough. So then just have to say this. All right, the next question comes again from Shaikh MD Amar, who comes from, again, India, and is coming for a master's in microbiology or molecular biology. And the question is, can I get a scholarship for life sciences? How much does it cost for living and tuition fees and all of that? So once again, this applies to every single international student applying to study in Finland. In Finland, if you come here to study in English and you are not a citizen of a European Union country, or I'm sorry, if you are not if you are an international student coming to study in Finland in English, either a bachelor's or a master's level degree, and you are not a citizen of a European Union or a European Economic Area country, you are allowed to apply for scholarships. Every single English language degree or English taught degree in Finland does have the option for scholarships. However, there are not enough scholarships for everyone. And the scholarships are granted on a competitive basis, meaning that only the best applicants are granted scholarships. So the question to you, can I get a scholarship for life sciences? Yes, you can have a scholarship, but you need to be a very good applicant in order to score yourself a scholarship. Second, how much does it cost to live in Finland? If you live in the capital region, I would recommend you to have around 700 to 800 euros per month for living costs. This is because the capital region is quite a bit more expensive to live in, and with 800 euros or so, you will get a nice apartment, and you will have, extra money after, your living costs like transportation, food, phone bills, electricity, internet, etc. You will have enough money after all of those costs to, travel and have a bit more fun. However, you can also get by with a bit less, like let's say 600 euros per month. However, that is going to be really, really close and tight. So you will really have to be careful with your budget. Of course, if you do not live in the capital region, the living costs, specifically the rent, is going to be slightly lower, so you can get by with a little bit less money. However, you have to have at minimum 560 euros per month on your account for living costs, because this is actually required by the Finnish Immigration Service. And if you do not have 560 euros saved per month on your account for the entire duration of your residence permit, you will not be granted a residence permit. You can get more information about this from the website of the Finnish Immigration Service. Go to migri.fi, go to English, go to permits and citizenship. From there, on the left, residence permit, first residence permit, studying in Finland, and then finally means of support here on the left. And here it says they define how much money you actually need to have at minimum on your bank account in order for you to even get a residence permit to study in Finland. So please check that out. Then tuition fees. Tuition fees depend on the school as well as the program. Please check the university websites for more information. Then the next question comes from Jerome from Uganda. Welcome, Jerome. Awesome to have someone from Uganda as well. I'm actually thinking that you're the first people from Uganda ever in the stream, which is highly appreciated. Welcome. Anyway, Jerome is applying for a master's in economics. Awesome. And the question is, what is the acceptance rate of universities in Finland for students doing a master's, and which universities can you recommend for economics that are cheaper? Universities which are cheaper for economics or business in general, there are multiple ones. I don't remember every single one by heart. The problem is that there's over 400 English taught degrees in Finland across 11 universities and 20 something universities of applied sciences. So I simply cannot remember all by heart. Personally, I would recommend that you apply to Aalto University. It's not the cheapest one, but it's the best university for economics. It's also my own institution where I studied. And however, it's not the cheapest one. However, I would recommend that you start with it because they do have scholarships, as do every single other university in Finland as well. So if you are a very good student, you might be able to get 100% of your tuition fee waived by the scholarship. So that would be awesome. About the acceptance rates, it's very difficult to say, but so as a general rule of thumb, it's usually somewhere around 10% or so. So sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more. It always depends on the university as well as the degree that you're applying to, especially for the more popular, more competitive universities like Aalto. It's going to be a bit lower. And the 10%-ish is from the Finnish language programs. However, I'm pretty sure that it's somewhere close to that with the English language programs as well. There are public data about this, but I just don't remember the exact numbers. I know that I've checked them before. Awesome. Guys, at this point in the stream, I will jump back into the chat. So now everyone has an opportunity. Now everyone will have an opportunity to get their questions answered quickly. So if you want to have your question answered right now, write your question into the chat so that you have a queue in front of your question, and then your question, and then I will pick a couple of the more interesting questions from the chat, and I will then after that jump back into the form. While I'm waiting for any of the questions, of course, let me know what is the time right now in your home country, and where are you streaming from? And for example, what are you drinking? I'm actually drinking water, because in Finland we have very strict marketing rules. So this is water, not Guinness, the beer, it's water. Awesome. But yeah, so write a Q and then your question into the chat, and I will pick a couple of interesting questions from the chat. Also, let me know where are you streaming from and what is the local time in your country at this point. Jerome saying, thanks for answering my question. I'm glad to be on the channel. Jerome, awesome to have you here. It's really cool that you have the patience to hang out for such a long time in the stream. Of course, Jerome, as well as for everyone else, I would of course appreciate if you are getting some value out of the stream. It would be of course awesome if you would consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. So basically what you can do is click this join button right below the video right here. And if you click the join button, you will actually see the different membership levels that we have on the channel. And each of the membership levels have some sort of perks for being a member. And of course, that would be highly appreciated because you will be directly supporting the channel and what I do here. If you don't want or cannot, for example, afford becoming a member, that is okay. I still love you guys for hanging out, but that would be highly appreciated. All right, let's see. We have a couple of questions in the chat. First one actually comes from Mr. Indian Gamer. So I am studying in a bachelor's in mechanical engineering in India, and I want to do a master's in aeronautical engineering in Finland. What are the educational qualifications and job opportunities? So educational qualifications in order to apply to study a master's in Finland is that you need to have a bachelor's degree which makes you eligible to apply for a master's degree in your own home country. So basically, after you have graduated from your bachelor's degree, you are allowed to apply for a master's degree in engineering in Finland. However, in terms of aeronautical engineering, you need to first find the suitable university for that. Me personally, I do not know of any university in Finland which has a master's in aeronautical engineering. This does not mean that there are not such universities. I just haven't stumbled upon on this kind of a degree. So what I recommend you to do is to simply use Google. Just Google Masters Aeronautical Engineering Finland, and for example, look that way. I can actually help you out really quickly here. So let's see, Aeronautical Engineering Finland. Let's see. Aerospace. Finland. Let's see. School of Engineering. So it seems that there are no master's degrees in aeronautical engineering in that specific that are specifically named that. However, let's see. We could actually check from here. Let's see. Let's see. Study option website. Let's actually see. Master Studies, Technology, English, Aero. No. Air. No. Let's see. Industrial energy, no. Sustainable. Advanced materials, innovation, sustainability, no. Electrical engineering, biochemical, communication, electronics, nanotechnology, physics could be one for you. Space, let's see, space. Master's program in space science and technology. So that might be actually one for you. So the problem here, what I'm actually looking through here, and this actually applies to everyone here as well, is that if you have a degree, for example, in India, master's in aeronautical engineering, it is highly likely that in Finland we don't have a degree that is named the same way. We absolutely are going to have degrees that have the same contents, but they're named differently. So this is why sometimes it's very difficult to find a suitable degree for you. So for example, in Aalto, we have a master's program in space sciences and technology. And if I just look this through really quickly, main learning outcomes for the program are fundamental and advanced knowledge in the academic subject studies, management skills, transferable skills, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really say anything here. Well, I would need to look into this a bit more. But I'm sure that Aalto University, for example, has a suitable master's degree in engineering, which would suit your needs in aeronautical engineering. However, you would need to go through the different degrees and actually look at the curriculum and what kind of courses they have and whether or not they would be suitable just for you. So this is sometimes a problem for international students and they are not able to find a suitable degree. So that's unfortunate. But it's also something that we have to just cope with. Anyways, yeah, great question. Job opportunities. I'm sure that there are a bunch of job opportunities in the field. For example, aeronautical engineering, we actually have a lot of space science-based companies in Finland that are doing applications for the space industry. And if you, for example, have a suitable degree in aeronautical engineering, I'm sure that industry would be suitable for you. We also have a very good industry in aeronautics, for example, airplanes. And I'm sure that there's jobs there as well. We do have a lot of startups doing aerospace engineering. So I'm sure that there are opportunities. I just cannot name any companies because I am not from that field. I don't have any experience in the field. All right, there's a couple of really good questions here. First comes from Bernard, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your last name. Bernard Kapiai. Bernard Kapkiai. All right, Bernard Kapkiai asking, can I pay my school fee and cater for my living expenses with a part-time job? couple of things here. In theory, yes. However, this is going to be extremely difficult. Before I go any more in detail about why it's difficult, let me say this. During your first year studies, you're not allowed to cover your living costs with a part-time job. You will not get a residence permit to Finland unless you have financial funds to cover at least your first year in Finland, your living cost. After that, after your second year, you can then start working you can already work part-time during your first year, but you have to have money on your account to pay for your first year living cost and tuition fee. If not, you don't get a residence permit to Finland. However, during the second year, then you can pay for your living cost with part-time jobs. However, I actually have a separate video about this topic, and I recommend that you check it out for more details. Let me just pull it out really, really quickly. Let's see. Pay. Just a moment. I'll just pull this up. Yeah, so I have a video that I'm going to link into the chat right now. Can you pay tuition with work? The video link is in the chat, so check that out. I'm actually going to a lot of details. I actually do the math on why it's not always possible for you to pay for your tuition and for your living costs. However, having said this, the thing is that since you are an international student, you're only allowed to work here for 25 hours on average per week. This is if you come from outside the EU. If you are from inside the EU, then you can work without any limitations. However, if you come from outside the EU, you can only work for 25 hours per week. And the problem is that as a student, it's first of all very difficult to find a job in the first place during your studies. And second, it's pretty much impossible to find a part-time job with only 25 hours per week that is going to pay you enough after taxes for you to pay for both your living cost and tuition fees. It's basically impossible. I do the math in the video, so please check that out. However, it is possible for you to pay for your living costs with part-time jobs, but the tuition fees are so expensive in Finland. Well, so expensive. They're actually relatively cheap globally measured when compared globally. However, they're still so expensive that you would need to accumulate a lot of money during the year, in addition to paying for your living costs, that it's impossible to get a part-time job in your field as a student that would pay enough money after taxes to not only pay for your living cost and save all the money for the tuition fee. So yes, a part-time job can cover your living cost, but not both your tuition and living cost. That's pretty much impossible. Check the video for more details. I actually do all the math in detail about it, and it should explain this well. However, that's a very good question. I actually get this question all the time. Very, very good, very important question. Then, Free Fabi is asking, what are the most popular sports? Greetings from Germany. Hallo, välkommen zum dem Stream. That's not the correct proposition or German in general, but willkommen anyways. I actually used to speak very good German years ago, not anymore, as you can see. What are the most popular sports? Ice hockey, number one, absolutely. Soccer, football is second. Of course, Finland doesn't rank that high in international standards in football, but it's still super popular. Then we have all kinds of winter sports, downhill skiing, cross-country skiing. Actually, basketball has grown in popularity quite a lot. And then floorball, which is very interesting. It's basically ice hockey with a ball and shoes. It's really popular in Finland as well. But yeah, ice hockey, soccer, basketball, and then all kinds of winter sports, super popular in Finland. Then we have a question from Maria Anna Saija. Hey there, I'm from Italy, and here it's 7 p.m. Hey, awesome. That's really cool to hear. So we're 1 hour ahead of you. I will be attending a master's in intercultural communication in Jyväskylä, but only for 4 months. Do you have any advice for short-term students? Thank you. Yes, Maria, get as much out of your studies. Get as much out of your student experience as possible in Jyväskylä. If I'm correct, this is going to be an Erasmus exchange, if I'm correct, so just for one semester. Of course, you need to pass your courses and pass your exams and all this good stuff. However, that's not the reason why you come to Finland to do your exchange. Rather, you come here to experience Finland and the Finnish student culture, which is completely unique throughout the entire globe, especially inside Europe. I've actually spoken to many Italian students, French students, German students, and I was in Germany for a semester as well. And there's nowhere where they would have the same kind of student culture that we have. So in Finland, the student culture is very active. We do a lot of volunteering. There's a lot of student clubs, different kind of events, parties, activities, not only in sports, but academics, career-related stuff, all kind of fun stuff. For example, just to give a couple of examples, I actually used to be the speaker of a skydiving club for a couple of years. So I've done skydiving as a student activity. I've done extreme sports like hiking, multi-sport events, climbing, this kind of stuff. I've actually been a part of a student club that is specializing in sales. So we actually practiced B2B sales and marketing. So there's all kinds of student activities in Finland that are super cool and very unique to the country. And I highly recommend that you take as much out of the student experience as possible, going to as many parties and traveling especially to Lapland. Since you're coming here for the autumn semester, Lapland is absolutely awesome. Try to get a exchange student group and a local tutor or local student as a guide, and go to Lapland to ski or to visit the Christmas village, the Santa's village, for example. A lot of fun. But yeah, don't focus only on your studies. Have a lot of fun. That's the reason why you're coming here for your exchange, to be honest. We're not expecting you to do perfect in school. Just, have fun. Then, Sunil Kumar asking, I'm not able to get eligibility criteria for a master's degree in data sciences in Finnish universities. How to find it? Please guide me, please. Good question. Let's do that right now live. Do note that there are multiple universities in Finland teaching data sciences, so I'm just going to do an example of one university. So let's go on Google, because Google is our friend. Aalto Masters Data Science. Master's program in computer communication. No, that's not it. No, actually, it is master's program in computer communication and information sciences. This is the official program name, but it's actually machine learning, data science, and artificial intelligence. So apparently, within this program, you can then specialize in one of these areas or some of these areas. So, for example, what did I do? I Googled Aalto, which is Aalto University. It's again the best university for this field. Aalto Masters Data Science. The first link, again, make sure that you check this link, which is aalto.fi. Do not go to this link, which is into.aalto. The link is fine, but it's the intranet of the school. So you're going to see like the curriculum here. You're going to see all kinds of official information. So if you want to have information about the eligibility criteria, it's easier from this link. So there, then downwards, how to apply. It's simple. Go down. Study option specific eligibility, study options web page, and then actually no, never mind. Sorry. Let me see. There you go. Okay, sorry, never mind. So again, link, master's program in computer sciences, computer communication, information sciences, go all the way down, study option specific application instructions. So you have two different pages. So up here, you had this how to apply. It came to this page. Oh, sorry, not this page. Damn. Sorry, I'm making this very confusing. So applying to master's programs, this page. So what this page is about the general application criteria for all the master's programs at Aalto University. So all the master's programs do share some eligibility criteria that you can find on this page. And on this page, you can also find the application schedule for next year. It's not yet, it has not yet been updated. So this is still for this year, but for next year, this is going to be updated most likely in September. So yeah, this is general stuff. And then if you want the program specific stuff, go to the program page all the way down to study option specific application instructions. From here, study option specific eligibility requirements. And from here, you can then see the exact criteria or requirements that you need for this program. And you can also see the study option specific documents that are required. So here you can see, for example, that they require a motivation letter, your CV, at least one original recommendation letter, preferably from a university professor. You need copies of any publications if you have anything like that. Your GREs or GMATs, if you have those available, they will help. And then you also have the evaluation criteria. So all the specific information that you need are right here. And I will actually link you the paste the link to this program. So data sciences, masters in data sciences at Aalto University. This link is going to be in the chat, so you can check it out right there. Great question. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? Christian saying, hey Oliver, a question on the permanent residence permit. The question would be the start time for the 4-year requirement. Does it start the moment you have your extended permit? Yeah, this is actually a good question. And unfortunately, Christian, I don't know. The reason is that the information that the Finnish Immigration Service has on their website is actually quite confusing even for me. So I actually haven't been able to kind of figure it out, even though I've been looking into this a bit more. I simply don't know. It's really stupid how complicated this has been made on their website. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer to this. Let's see. Then, all right, that's it. Let's jump back into the form and let's answer the question from Amin, who comes from Morocco, starting school this semester, doing a degree in engineering. And the question is, I'm studying in the University of Moulay, Ismail, in Morocco. I don't have any diploma for TOEFL or any kind of other language proficiency tests. And next year's we have a new system for studies. All right, so I'm not sure if there's a question there. If you do have a question, let me know in the chat. But I don't really know if I'm able to answer that. So just wasn't able to get anything out of the question. Anyway, the next question comes from Shabd, who comes from India, and he has not yet decided whether or not he wants to study in Finland, but is interested in a master's in earthology. Yeah, all right. Earthology. What is earthology? Earthology meaning. What is earthology? I'm not even actually able to get a definition for earthology. Earthology, jeez. Anyway, the question is, what is the scope for geographers, archaeologists, climatologists in Finland? Interesting question. Unfortunately, Shabd, I don't know. I have never looked into any kind of a degree in geography, archaeology, or climatology. What I would recommend you to do is to look at, go to the University of Helsinki website and check if they have a master's degree in any of these fields. I am not sure if they have. I have never looked into these fields specifically. These are extremely specific fields. Geography or archaeology they're much more specific than like business. So I would need to look into these fields specifically in order to get an answer here. And I know that if I start Googling or looking for this information now, it's going to take quite a while for me to look for the information. So I'm not going to Google this right now. Unfortunately, I simply don't have the answer. This is way too specific of a question for me to know the answer to, unfortunately. All right, the next question We have from Madhav, who comes from India, and the question is, what are the educational qualifications for? Actually, never mind, we actually got that already. That's fine. The next question comes from Reithi, who comes from Reithi. Let's try that one more time. The next question comes from Reithi, who comes from India, who is already studying in Finland, doing his master's in IT. And the question is, what about COVID vaccines in Finland? Are they free for students? And did you already have your vaccine? I've already had my first round of vaccines, or first shot, and I will have my second vaccine around August. So we have 12 weeks between each shot in Finland, so that we can have them to as many people as possible, the first round. About COVID vaccines in Finland, they're free if you live in Finland. However, if you don't live already in Finland, you have to be vaccinated before you actually come to Finland. So you're not able to come to Finland and then get vaccinated, because you don't belong into the healthcare. You're not provided by the healthcare system in Finland. So if you don't already live in Finland, then you need to get vaccinated before you come here. However, if you study already here and you live here, the vaccine is free and you should get it. And if you have not yet done so, please go to the Finnish Institution of Health and Welfare's website, or just Google Corona vaccinations Helsinki or Finland, and you will get a website which tells you who are being vaccinated, what group of people are being vaccinated right now, and if you are a part of that group, where can you reserve a time for vaccinations. However, if you do not live in Finland, then you cannot get vaccinated here. You have to get vaccinated in your home country first. Warrior Mage, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Asking in the chat, is vaccination going to be mandatory? There was actually just an update in the regulation. Basically, if you're not vaccinated, or if you have not, if you have not been vaccinated in Finland, then you need to be tested when you come here. If you don't get tested, you actually will be fined quite heftily. No one is going to be forced to get a vaccination in Finland. However, there most likely are going to be restrictions if you are not vaccinated. For example, there might be some kind of a vaccination passport, or there is going to be a vaccination passport within the European Union. So, for example, if you want to travel within EU, you need to be vaccinated in order to travel. So, unless there is a specific reason for you not to get vaccinated, I would ask everyone to get vaccinated. Because you are not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting everyone around you. Even if you think that you will not be hurt by the disease, if you're not being vaccinated, that's fine. That's your personal opinion, or that's up for you. However, you can still spread the disease to other people, even if you do not get sick. So please get vaccinated, every single one of you, especially if you want to come to Finland. We don't want to get another spike, because international people would come to here without vaccination and then spreading around the disease. It's simply not something that anyone wants to have. We just want to get rid of the situation, get back to normal. So please, everyone get vaccinated. All right, the next question comes from Nadeem, who comes from Bangladesh, and the question is, Dear Oliver, firstly, thank you a lot for answering my previous two questions. You're most welcome. Now I have another question. That is awesome. That is, my girlfriend completed her bachelor's in her country already 11 years ago. She's continuing a job currently she's continuing in a job that she has been doing since she passed or did her degree. The question is, can she now apply again for a bachelor's for business program in any kind of a University of Applied Sciences in 2022, or should she apply for a master's or an MBA? It's completely up to you. There's nothing stopping you from actually applying for another bachelor's degree. In Finland, you have the right to study whatever you want, whenever you want. No one looks at your age or what kind of a degree you already have, unless you, if you want to go kind of backwards, then no one cares what kind of a degree you have beforehand. However, if you want to go upwards, so to a master's or to a PhD, then it of course matters what kind of a degree you have beforehand. However, of course, if you already have a bachelor's or a master's, you can absolutely apply for another bachelor's. However, the question is, does it make any sense? Does it really make any sense for her to do another bachelor's, especially in the same field? I would argue not. I don't see any reason why she would do any kind of a new degree in the same field on the same level. I just don't see the value there. Rather, I would simply just go for a higher degree, so for a master's degree, basically. Again, we don't do MBAs in Finland, we do master's degrees, so, or we do have MBAs in Finland, but they're not part of the official university system. They're a separate, completely separate supplementary system. So I would apply for a master's, absolutely. For example, if you look at the job market, she's not going to get any kind of value at all from having a second bachelor's, even if it's newer. The fact that she already has 11 years of work experience, that is the value that she is going to bring into the companies, not another degree, unless she wants to do a master's. That's absolutely cool, and I would highly encourage her to do that, because I think that the higher your educational level, the better it is for the future, considering that a lot of jobs in the future are going to be automated, and a lot of jobs are going to disappear, and the higher your degree and the higher your competence, the better opportunities you have in the future as well. Awesome. All right, the next question comes from Ermayas Fekadu, who comes from Ethiopia, which is really awesome. We have a lot of people from around the world today. That's really cool. Anyway, Ermayas is starting school this semester at the University of Tampere, doing his master's in software, technology, software and web development and cloud development. And the question is, for software students, does working as a software engineer have limited working hours? Yes, if you are not from the European Union, you can only work for 25 hours per week on average. Doesn't matter what the field is. So you can work without limits during the summer and Christmas holidays, but while you are actually having classes, so during the semester, you can only work for 25 hours. It doesn't matter what you're studying or what the field is that you're working in. It doesn't have anything to do with it. So, for example, on the website of the Finnish Immigration Service, it says that you can only work for 25 hours per week unless the job is has to do with your your studies. That does not mean that if you work in the field that you're studying, that you would be able to work full time. Rather, it means that if you do a mandatory internship that is a part of your degree, then you can work full time. However, if you study engineering and you work in engineering, you can still only work for 25 hours per week, if you come from outside the EU. So that's the rule. Oh, Jetgot is saying, Oliver sweating like tomatoes. It's too hot, or are you just perspirating? It's freaking warm here. It's absolutely way too warm. It's like 29 degrees inside right now. It's evening. It's almost 9 o'clock p.m. here. It's just freaking warm here. We don't have any AC at the office, so it's unbearable. So I'm just sweating like crap. I can't. I would keep the window open to have some fresh air coming in, but there's way too much traffic noise coming from the window, so I can't have it open. So, yeah, it's just way too warm. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for all the awesome questions. There's still a few questions left in the form, but unfortunately, I don't have the time to get to all of them today. We have now gone for 3 hours exactly. So thank you so much for hanging out for all of this time. Thank you very much for all the awesome questions. Of course, again, if you did get some value out of the stream, I would really appreciate it if you could tap the like button for the YouTube algorithm gods. And of course, if you're getting value out of the videos and the live streams on the channel, I would also appreciate if you would consider joining as a channel member. There is a join button below the video right there that you can click, and then you can see all the different perks that channel members get each month. Anyways, thank you so much. I will get back to the questions that were left from this week in the stream next week. So don't worry about it. Don't worry if you didn't get your question answered. I will start with those questions at the start of next week's live stream, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.